And good morning. It is a Would You Rather Wednesday edition of Glenn Clark Radio. I'm Glenn. He's Griffin. And for better or for worse, Drew Forrester is in studio with us this morning as well.
Too loud. Who was that?
Yeah, I don't know what was going on.
Why don't you guys?
What happened?
Who was that music? Well, what happened to OAR? Would they squirt you with a
we
water
get
gun or
off.
something?
YouTube doesn't know better, so we get kicked off
Oh.
if we use music that hasn't been approved or whatever, and YouTube doesn't know that I'm friends with OAR, so they can't.
Gotcha.
It's a whole
I gotcha.
effing thing.
I thought they scored you with a water gun or something.
No.
And you were on the outs with them.
Anything else? Did you?
I'm ready today.
I bet you are. Drew Forrester's here, drewsmorningdish.com.
I can only hang till 11:30.
Well, that's perfect because Rashod Bateman needs to join us at 11:30.
Zero, just talk to him.
Oh yeah? What do you want to? You want to fight about Rashod Bateman?
Well, you know how I feel.
I don't. How do you feel?
Overrated.
Oh, what do you mean overrated? I don't think he's particularly highly rated.
He's overrated.
But how could that be? He's not particularly highly rated.
Whatever rating you give him is too much.
Well, what if somebody thinks he's a 3?
Too much.
Wow. Wow, this is what we're doing today, huh? This is what we're doing. This is what you came in with. New material today from Drew Forrester. All right, it is a Would You Rather Wednesday edition of the program, brought to you by Glory Days Grill. We'll get to that a little bit later on. I got the scenarios up on Facebook. I'll get them up on Twitter here in a minute. Also, coming up this morning, as I mentioned, yes, we will chat with Rashod Bateman, Ravens wide receiver. A lot to talk about with him after he signed the new 3-year deal. And we'll meet Ravens 4th-round pick TJ Tampa, first person I've ever known with the last name Tampa.
I would agree with that.
I know a second after I said it.
I know a Tampa Bay.
Right, correct. That's a city. Yes, right. That's different.
I don't know anyone with the last name Tampa.
I don't think I've ever met anyone before with the last name Tampa. So we will chat.
Why
his dad now? So.
Oh, okay. So
why?
By the way, his name is Marquez. How did it become TJ? I mean, we're going to ask. We're going to get to the bottom of this.
Yeah, it's important.
That is the part that matters. And I'm worried that the answer is it's Tampa Jr., which kind of means that his name is Tampa. So I got questions.
Okay.
I got things I got to deal with.
Why did we take? Why don't we take the U out of glamour, but we left it in, but we took it out of favorite?
For the Canadians. I mean,
is that what it is?
I think it is.
And that's what
I think.
Nate Bargatze asked that on the George Washington skit.
Right.
We're gonna leave the U in glamour.
Correct. And how many feet?
Only
how many
glamour,
feet
sir?
a mile? No one knows.
Only glamour, sir.
Only glamour. Only glamour.
Dude,
that's one of the best things.
When he says,
actually,
you do kick the ball in football. Do you get any points? Yes, you do. Sometimes 1 and sometimes 3.
Between that, this has actually been a really good season.
The soul food one in that show was fantastic.
Wait, which one was the soul food one?
Where he and the African-American girl came out, and they did the soul food, and they gave her the prize, and they're like, actually, Dougie won.
Oh, right,
goes, I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm sorry. And he goes, and then his assistant came out. The girl goes, but they had an assistant, and then the African-American guy comes out and goes over with the girl, and the white guy comes out, and he goes,
we're so sorry.
He goes, actually, sir, I made the recondition, not recondition, but I made the something. The reimagined catfish or something,
right.
and he goes, "You should kill yourself."
The
soul food one was so good.
Between that, the Beavis and Butthead thing from a couple weeks ago, and the church sketch in the Shane Gillis episode was outstanding.
The Beavis and Butthead thing,
one of the best things they've done in years.
And here's I guess it's in your era, right?
Right.
As Beavis and Butthead in your life?
Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
Beavis and Butthead in my era?
Ethan
Beavis
didn't get
and Butthead
it.
was my era.
Yeah, Ethan didn't get it.
Yeah.
Ethan's like, "Is this funny?" I'm like, "You have no idea how funny it is."
And it was nothing more than a premise. There were 2 actual jokes in the entire sketch.
Right. It was just
the premise.
It was just the fact that they were sitting there.
It was brilliant.
And he kept saying, he looks like Beavis, a famous character.
They've had a really good season.
Yeah, and it's been a rebirth for sure. They should have Bargatze be the permanent host.
He's very good. I'm not going to argue with that.
Oh, my
He's
gosh.
very, very good.
He was actually in Houston. I was in Houston last weekend. He was in Houston, but I didn't go.
Did you win?
I did not.
Oh. Well, what was the point of the trip then?
Yeah, it's a good question. Right?
Why go if you're not going to win?
two things about Houston. It's no matter where you go in Houston, it's in the middle of nowhere.
That's fair.
No matter where you go.
I have never felt anything strong to Houston in my life.
And
apparently I went to the wrong airport the last time.
And they think they are going to be able to beat the Ravens this year. That's what they think.
I hear
and we go down there.
And I would tell you that I like that they're 1-53. I like their roster better than I like the Ravens roster today.
Okay.
Now that doesn't mean that they're going to win.
Jeez, I don't hate for you.
But 1-53.
Well, we know what they do have better.
What's that? Quarterback
helmet.
Helmet. That for sure. My God.
Yeah.
I was with the.
Are we really putting these new ones into play?
I don't know what that's about either. I don't know what that's about.
I mean, also, the current helmet's terrible.
Look, man.
Any helmet is better than the one we have.
I don't want to be this guy, but who's choosing to sit in those field seats they introduced yesterday?
Really?
Who's choosing that?
I think I would like to.
Why? You're not going to see anything.
How much are they?
Oh, they're going to be extraordinary. Are you kidding me?
But how much are they? What's extraordinary to you?
I don't think they've announced that yet. I don't think they've announced how much.
Okay. I mean, are they $500 a game?
Oh, I think they'll be more than that.
Okay, then yeah, it's not worth it.
You're not going to see anything. You're going to be like I get it. They put it instead of putting it directly on the sideline, they put it like down in the corner to try to get you away from being right behind all of the people on the sideline. But they let anybody come on the sideline anymore. There's so many people on the sideline.
Are you a in the pit concert person?
Yes, I am.
Okay,
I am.
And for what reason?
But the stage is above you.
But I'm getting. But for what reason?
For sight, not for experience. For sight.
Okay.
You're not moshing around with everybody.
I mean, when a younger man.
But isn't that the problem?
When I go to the Dave Matthews Band, I'm right in that mosh pit.
Right. But isn't that, and that's actually a good. That just now, that's a good comparison. I was in the front for Dave Matthews in Camden. It's like everybody's on a lounge chair. No one's. It got kind of crowded, and you got girls trying to squeeze their way up to the front because I'm a girl and I want to be up front.
Right.
But I've been to see other shows. I've seen the Goo Goo Dolls where it got a little rambunctious in the front. Like, I don't prefer to be up there because it isn't comfortable to me.
Well, I think it depends.
Being in the front row at the football game would be ultra comfortable.
If you could see.
I guess. I don't. Do people really go to? Well, maybe you're right, but I don't even like to go to the games.
Game. Well, I agree with that. I don't go to the games at all.
I mean, I enjoyed going to the AFC Championship game.
But that was a different experience. If you told me I had to go to the game, like you can sit wherever you want to sit in the stadium, you've got to go to the game. I'll take care of the tickets. You can sit wherever you want. Give me the 20th row. Give me up off the field so I can actually see what's going on. But I'm not so far up that I'm with all of the terrible drunks.
Now, I am kind of the opposite. It just relates to seating for football. I don't want to be upstairs.
Yeah. Oh, I'm out on the upstairs.
Oh, you said 20th row.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Give me something. Give me 20 rows. Good one, actually. 20 rows up.
Yep. That's what I want.
But I would do this thing down at the field once.
I mean, I guess if you said you want to go
But I'm not doing it for $1,000.
I think it's going to be. I think that's what it's about.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
I think that's like the reason that they put these into place wasn't because they wanted more affordable seats. They wanted more prime opportunities to make a boatload of money. That's
well, they need it.
It's a great point. It's a great point. Well, they got to pay for Odafe Oweh.
They are cash strapped.
They are strapped.
I mean.
All right, Drew's here. Today's show brought to you by Atman's Deli in Harbor Point. Everything you love about the original Atman's Deli, but now they also have a bar. So they got all the corned beef piled high, the deli sandwiches, the hot dogs with the fried bologna, everything that you love about Atman's Deli, which is, of course, an institution in our community. But also this location has a full bar for you to hang out and watch games. AtmansDeli.com is the website for you to find out all the daily specials. Atman's Deli in Harbor Point. Stop by and check them out on your way to and from games moving forward. Last night, the Orioles make it back-to-back wins over the New York Yankees, 4-2. And yes, the Yankees help conspire in the process as their defense stinks.
Man, that's amazing, right?
It is bad.
And I guess juxtaposed against ours, it really reflects how mediocre they are. Because we're pretty solid defensively. I mean, Mountcastle last night looking like the second coming to Mark Teixeira with the glove.
Right.
Like when you see us play defense, how about the double play early in the game?
I mean,
when you see
actually two double plays early in the game.
When you see us, and we made a big deal about the one with that's what Mateo's supposed to do.
Correct.
So, I mean, we make a big deal about those things because it's our team, but he's supposed to do that. But just the fact that it was executed so flawlessly, you would not see the Yankees do that.
No.
You just wouldn't.
No, they're not.
Rizzo's not bad, but they are not good defensively.
They're
I mean,
not.
When the season
their
ends,
outfield defense is dreadful.
yeah, when the season ends and, they're in the fight for a wild card spot because they're neck and neck with whoever and they aren't 3 games ahead, it might be because they don't play any defense.
Hey, but Juan Soto got to stare down Dean Kremer, so he's got
now,
that going for him.
Now, you know what I'm going to say about that. I love that. And the fact that I love it. I just love it. Because you know what's coming next tonight, right?
They're going to plunk him?
Well, sure. If they're ahead 7-1, they're gonna come after him.
Yeah, sure.
They have to.
They don't.
Well,
they don't.
No,
they could just play baseball.
In their mind, they do.
Yeah, I don't know.
I loved it.
I don't know if
what is that thing he does at first base, by the way?
Whatever.
Just run around the bases.
He's a good baseball player. He's a very good baseball player. He's an incredibly good baseball player.
No doubt about that.
He's going to make $1 billion this offseason.
Yeah.
He's incredible.
Yeah.
But I mean,
he'll look good out there for us next year.
Right. It's laughable, man. Like this is they lost the game 4-2, and afterwards he's like, I bet he liked that home run.
Right. You're a buffoon.
I bet you're right, Juan. I bet he's still thinking about that. I bet that's what Dean Kremer's got on his mind after yesterday. Dean Kremer's man of the match, and this one was closer for me because I actually thought that Webb was great out of the bullpen and deserved a lot of credit there. I'm still infuriated that we've been doing this for this long. Adley Rutschman's not been man of the match, and he's been brilliant for the entire month of April.
He has a 13 or 14 game hitting streak, right?
It's insane how good Adley Rutschman's been, and somehow I haven't made a man of the match yet. And so, at some point, I just want to cheat to get him on the board because, my God, how good has Adley Rutschman been this season? But ultimately, the Orioles needed innings, plain and simple. They were desperate for innings last night, given Craig Kimbrell was still unavailable and yet holding a roster spot and how much of their bullpen they had used. They were desperate for innings last night. So, and for Dean Kremer, who with a giant spot, like he was under the microscope. And when they were hitting the ball hard early in the game, there was a part of me that said, well, this will be Dean's final start. That's that.
Right.
And
I talked about him a couple weeks ago. I mean, they're going to have a decision to make somewhere along the way.
This week.
With Bradish and or Means, right? Does Kremer go to the bullpen? Does Irvin go to the bullpen? Do both of them go to the bullpen? All
right. We'll talk about that because it's going to pop up in Would You Rather Wednesday. Dean Kremer, under a microscope against the New York Yankees, stepped up and gave them 7 innings last night when they desperately needed innings. So kind of no way around it for me. Dean Kremer, man of the match, and he goes up on the board for the first time this season. Orioles continue the series with the Yankees tonight. Corbin Burnes will be on the mound as the Orioles try to clinch a series win. The Yankees will throw Luis Gil, who are Heel. Is it Heel? Like Geronimo? It's Heel?
It is Heel.
I don't know anything about Luis Heel. Tell me what I should know about Luis Heel.
He's been okay at times.
But why is he a starter for the Yankees?
I guess because Garrett Cole
is
hurt,
he the guy?
And
okay.
I'm trying to think. Is he their 5th starter? I think he is their 5th starter. But he's been serviceable.
Well, this feels.
I think he had a 9 strikeout game a couple weeks ago.
This feels reverse Lockey to me. This feels like.
Oh, no doubt. He throws a 2-hitter.
100%.
Right.
You got Corbin Burnes on the mound against something called Luis Heel. Everybody knows you're betting the Orioles tonight, and somehow this kid goes out there and mows them down.
So against Tampa 2 weeks ago, or like 10 days ago, he had 9 strikeouts, didn't allow a run over 5 2/3. Then last week against in Milwaukee, let up 5 runs in 5 innings. So, and that was his worst start so far last week.
Yeah, this is a 5-1 win for them.
This feels
right.
as
we don't score till the 8th inning or something.
As reverse Lockey as reverse Lockey gets. I don't think there's anything. He
gave up 7 walks in a game against Toronto, so maybe he's been wild.
Okay, so there's that.
He's had at least 2. He's given up at least 2 walks. So he'll probably have no walks today.
None. He'll probably be very pitch efficient. He'll probably do it in about 80 pitches tonight, if I had to guess.
Oh, he's got a painful tattoo on his neck, right
Cody Rhodes. Like, is it the
not quite as big as massive as Cody Rhodes.
Cody Rhodes. All right, very good. That's tonight in Game 3 of the series. All right, why don't we go ahead and do Would You Rather Wednesday, just because it's going to be some of the relevant topics that we want to otherwise discuss. Would You Rather Wednesday is brought to you by Glory Days Grill. Of course, glorydaysgrill.com is their website, and you could win a $25 gift card to Glory Days Grill just for participating in Would You Rather Wednesday today. Can use it on any of the delicious wings, ribs, burgers. I, of course, love the Old Bay honey Old Bay cauliflower. I get the cauliflower wings, but I put the honey bowl Old Bay on it. It's not a side. It's a damn meal. Look, everybody knows how I feel about Glory Days Grill. I don't know why anybody would feel anything differently. $25 gift card for someone who participates today in Would You Rather Wednesday. Number 1, let's get right into it. After last night, got 3 options for this one.
Okay.
We're all assuming that Albert Suarez is gone.
Ask Melanie Newman.
Sure. Is gone from the rotation. He's going back to the bullpen.
Okay.
We all work under that assumption.
Okay.
But with Kyle Bradish and John Means slated to return this week, would you rather Dean Kremer also go to the bullpen, Cole Irvin also go to the bullpen, or, sorry, Chief, we got to see you work your way back, John Means returns and goes to the bullpen?
And then what do you do with the other 2? They just kind of split.
What do you the other 2?
Kremer and Irvin.
If one of there's 7 pitchers right now.
I'm aware.
Suarez will be 1. 1 more has to go to the bullpen, and then you'll have 5 starters. Would you rather it be?
Oh, you're
I'm giving you
going
3
with
options.
The 5-starter thing. Okay.
Yeah. For this week, they're going to have 6 starters, obviously.
Right.
But next week they have 2 off days. There's not going to they can't keep going with a 6-man rotation. It's not an option moving forward. At some point when they have another, what's next week where they don't have an off day?
Yes, 2 games next week, right?
Yeah, they have 2 off days next week. When's the next week where they don't?
I would
have
say
an off day?
at least for the first 2 weeks, put Means back there.
Third week of May.
Third week of May.
I would say put Means back there
In the bullpen.
Yeah. Particularly given that Irvin has been. I can't even believe I'm saying this. Feels like I'm breaking out in hives.
1 off day in all of June.
Particularly given that Irvin has been so good here recently, which sounds bizarre.
It's crazy. But legitimately, his 2 best starts, back to back. His last 2 starts.
I would say for the short term. Now Garrett just pointed out they only have 1 off day in June. I would say though for the short term, let Means throw an inning and a half here and there. Right. That's what I would say.
Well, I don't think he would be throwing an inning. I think if you're putting Means in the bullpen, you're putting him in the bullpen specifically to be your long man, right? Like, you got to stretch him out still.
Okay.
Like, I think you'd have to have him make longer appearances.
His wife's going to object.
Cole Irvin
what
seems
does that
like.
have to do with anything?
You'll see.
What?
What's going to happen?
She'll go on Twitter and throw a cryptic comment out there.
What do you have? What is your beef with
She'll start tweeting
Caroline
like
Means? So, by the way, really,
she's like Zeitler's wife. She got me angry too.
About what?
Just too much of her.
What if she
What?
starts
She
tweeting like
play.
It's like 2 of the nicest people I've ever met in my life.
She's like, what's the point of having soldiers if you don't use them?
Correct.
She starts
Correct.
doing that.
That's exactly what she's going to say.
I don't think so.
That's exactly.
I don't think that's the case.
I think Cole Irvin seems like because he did it last year. Like, he was in the bullpen last year, and I thought he was. I guess he wasn't great, but he was effective in the bullpen last year. That seems to make the most sense. So you keep Kremer.
I can't even believe I'm agreeing with him. Right.
You keep Kremer in the rotation. I think Kremer's earned it.
All I'm going to say about him,
he always finds a way to. He does always find a way to step up when you're like, oh, we need it, and then he goes 7 innings yesterday. When
I
like,
understand that, but then he has multiple starts where he gives up a bunch of home runs, and it doesn't look.
It seems like he'll have 1 start, like every 4 or 5 weeks.
But the man bun thing.
Here's what I would say.
Exactly.
That's a great point. With all due respect to Cole Irvin and the 2 starts that he's put together, of this group of guys, the guy who has the least equity among them is Cole Irvin.
Okay, and then you also have to take into account, as it relates to the order that he comes in, what's the lineup that day, right?
But most teams.
Teams are gonna figure out a way to
Right.
combat him. What if you're going up against someone who's just right-handed? Going to go crazy. And you got the same issue with John Means, too. But what if you're coming up against a team that when they load up right-handed, it's problematic?
I don't know off the top of my head who's a team that's full of lefties that you would say, this is why you got to have – well, they've already played them, right?
And they're finished anyway.
Well, yeah, but
Anthony Rendon got hurt again.
Stunner. Absolute stunner.
He might be, of all – what's his name up there? The kid that went from Boston to New York was a total money stealer. Center fielder.
Johnny Damon?
No,
Jacoby
Ellsbury.
Yeah.
He was a total money stealer. He makes this guy makes him look like a philanthropist. This guy Rendon is the biggest thief in the history of baseball.
Have you heard of Chris Davis?
But didn't Chris Davis have 3 good years?
I mean,
no, maybe not.
I mean, before he got
13,
paid.
14, 15.
Like,
No,
yeah, before
no,
he got paid. After he got paid, he didn't have 3
But Chris
good years.
Okay, but here's what I'd say. Chris Davis played.
Yeah, he tried to.
Chris
Anyway,
Davis played.
He tried to. He wanted
These
to.
other 2 characters were always hurt.
Or the teams have sort of figured out, yeah, Chief, we're better without you.
Rendon has been hurt all the time. Stanton would be the only other one that's even in his wheelhouse. But Stanton, when he plays, is at least productive. Is he hurt now?
Stanton?
Yeah.
No, he's just really slow. He just
Okay.
can't-
And
he just
old.
can't
And
run.
Did you see?
Not really bad
Did you
anymore.
see the
Not
highlight
really good
from
anymore.
10 days ago when he rounded third base? Did you see it?
I mean, probably.
I don't think I did.
He was at full speed, and you totally thought it was in slow
I mean,
motion.
it's been over even last over the last couple of seasons. Whenever he has to run the bases,
It's hilarious.
comical.
It's hilarious.
Well,
How old is he?
He's only like, I don't even think
32?
That's the thing. I think it's like something like that.
How can a 32-year-old person?
No, he's 34.
Okay, how can a 34-year-old person that's athletic, air quotes, be that pedestrian? How?
I get it. I get it.
How?
It's laughable.
Yokozuna was faster.
Well, let's settle down with all of that. Let's settle down with all of that.
By the way, I saw him one night in Rosemont, Illinois, do 12 shots of tequila.
All right. Okay.
I saw Yokozuna. They lined up 12 of them.
And he probably was completely.
And you know who ran? Who ran the whole show? You'll be surprised
Ric
when I tell you
Flair.
this. Nope.
Yeah.
Bobby Heenan.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. That's
Bobby
about
Heenan
right.
was like the ringleader. He's the
Yeah,
one that got all the
that's
guys,
about
the
right.
girls. Every guy that left the bar with a girl, Bobby Heenan set it up.
Or yeah.
He said it. I watched it.
That sounds about right. That's
Every
all that,
guy that left with a girl, Bobby Heenan was the wingman.
That's all of that. Sounds
And then
right.
Yokozuna did 12 shots.
All right, but you're saying John means the bullpen.
Yeah, or Yokozuna.
Well, I don't think that he's
I think he's
available.
dead.
I think yes. I think unfortunately he's no longer, and it's been some time since he left us. Unfortunately. All right.
Did he do the thing where he put his butt in your face? Who
no,
was
that?
that?
Was Rikishi. Rikishi did the stink face, I believe, is what it was called.
Dude,
And would pull his.
now you got to
He
be.
would pull his shorts up to
All right, now
to
look.
show more of his ass cheeks.
Okay, now look. I understand in wrestling. I get it. You're making a nice living. They're carting you all over the country. You are getting a lot of girls. You are a big time star. I get it. I totally get it. And I also get that you're at the whim of their content discretion.
Yes.
Hey, we need you to be a gay clown.
Right. Correct.
Really?
You're an actor, is what you are.
Really?
Yes.
That's what you want me to be?
Yes. That's the way it works.
Well, that's why we give you $700,000.
My buddy.
Okay.
Yeah, my buddy reminded me of that the other day. He said, "Look, man, you're an actor."
But
That's
when
what you
they
are.
come to you and they say,
Right.
in the match tonight,
Right.
you're going to sit in the corner,
Right.
and this guy's going to take his rear end
Yes.
and rub it in your face,
Yes.
I think I might say, that one's not for me.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Money's good.
I don't know.
It's gonna be Would You Rather Wednesday here. Would you rather?
I think I'm
Save
passing
it,
on that
because
one.
a pro wrestler is going to pop up in Would You Rather Wednesday
Okay.
in a second. All right, but you're going with means. You're going with. Remind me who you're.
Irvin.
Irvin, and I'm going with Irvin as well.
All right.
All right, number 2. Would you rather? Of course,
Hateful. You
the
guys are
Ravens.
hateful.
The Ravens picked up Odafe Oweh's 5th-year option yesterday.
Mistake.
They think they're going to spend the $13 million on otherwise. You've seen how much football players.
Did they give him
cost?
$13
Not
million?
for this year. For the next year, he'll get $13 million.
You think they'll sign Zay Jones?
No, I don't.
You don't?
There's a domestic thing in his
Oh, there is.
background. I just
How on earth do they think Odafe Oweh is worth $13 million?
because they've seen what other football players cost. Apparently, you haven't. That's the issue. All right. That said, you have to.
I got to get Ethan into football.
You should. It's something you should
Lord.
do. You have to make one of these two bets, and I know you're saying, "Hey, either one."
I'm kind of against this right
Oh
away.
yeah, because you can only make one.
Yeah.
Because you're like, "How dare you minimize?"
All right.
Would you rather? You got to bet everything you have
Oh.
on Odafe Oweh having a 10-sack season as a Baltimore Raven. Not necessarily this year, but at some point, Odafe Oweh has a 10-sack season as a Baltimore Raven. Or, same odds, bet everything you have on Rashod Bateman having a 1,000-yard receiving season as a Baltimore Raven?
I 100% would go with Oweh.
Why?
Because you could fluke your way into 2.5 in one game, and then 2 weeks later fluke your way into 2, and you're halfway there. And sacks are, I don't want to say sacks are easy, but you can accidentally get a sack. Quarterback gets the snap, fumbles the ball, looks around to his right, nowhere to go, looks to his left, and you're standing there, and it's a sack. Like, in order to catch the ball for 1,000 yards, a lot of things have got to go right. You've got to run the route. You've got to get open. You've got to catch it. Quarterback's got to throw it to you. Defensive back's got to not be on your rear end. Like, I would say, I think Bateman is a 1,000-yard receiver potential. Mm-hmm. But if you said one of those two, I think Oweh could be a 10-sack guy more than I think Bateman would be a 1,000-yard guy.
Okay. Griffin?
What are the odds on neither?
No, you don't get to bet that, like a-hole. You got
No. I like the way this kid thinks.
No. It's a game.
Plus 2,500.
Got to bet one or the other. What are you betting?
Gosh, I felt like it seems like last year was the year for Oweh to kind of reach that sack number. With Clowney, Van Noy both having career years, and that didn't he had 5 sacks. Oweh probably is the answer because he has reached 5 sacks twice.
What is it with you guys?
What?
Why do you guys like to talk sports so much?
I know. What a crazy thought. What a crazy thought, right?
What is it with you guys?
Don't you have to be at the rectory? Don't you? What are they doing over there without you?
Well, we're off on Wednesday.
What is a rectory?
We're off on Wednesday. The rectory is the living quarters of the priest.
Oh, okay. Well, why do you have to run that? Can't the priest run?
Well, he can't run the church and the outreach office.
Oh, you say that.
Somebody down there.
Got to hire a better priest.
Somebody's got to do something. No, we can't do that.
Oh, okay.
We got one of the best.
All right.
I think Oweh is the answer.
It is the answer.
Yeah.
Move on.
I disagree with that.
Well,
because all it takes is one of
2
these.
to 1.
All it takes is one of these other guys getting hurt, and all of a sudden Rashod Bateman's your top option. The number of guys
will he reach 1,000?
The number of guys that have managed to put together massive yardage. Look at the list of 1,000.
Bateman's not necessarily the, other than last year when you guys won the Chinese lunch off me. He's not been the bastion of good health either.
I agree with that part. I 100% agree with that. But look at the list of Ravens that have had 1,000-yard receiving seasons in their history. The circumstances are what all I still think that Rashod Bateman's a football player. I don't know why it hasn't worked, and I think that injuries are a significant part of it, and we'll talk to Rashod Bateman about it when he joins us a little bit later on. But I still think he's a football player. You combine that with, like, if Zay Flowers were to get hurt or, could have been suspended a couple of weeks ago, all of a sudden he's the guy.
Okay.
Like, that's what you have. Whereas I don't think any injury is going to change what Odafe Oweh is bringing to the table. So for me, the answer is Rashod.
Okay, well, you lose 2 to 1.
All right, and is that how this works?
Do you want to name all the 1,000-yard receiver? We'll do it later.
In the Ravens' history?
Yeah.
1,000-yard receivers?
How many of them are there?
How many
there are
there?
1, 2, 3.
Are you
4,
counting the
5,
seasons or are you counting
6
the players?
Players.
Make sure you count the players.
All right.
right.
7. I count 8, 9.
9. Just receivers. So that takes out tight ends?
All pass catchers.
All pass catchers.
Okay. So
yeah, we can do this. Kadri.
Yes.
Right, Q.
Thank you. Q.
Andrews.
Yes, Mark Andrews has the most yards in a single season in Ravens history.
Well, of course he does.
Derek Mason.
Yes.
All right. Holy cow.
How did you say there were 9?
Yeah.
You want me to go ahead and pick you up?
No, we're going
Uh-huh.
we're going back and forth.
Mhm.
Just calm down. It's not Kelly Washington.
Probably not. I think he came, but he had that dance.
It's not Frank Sanders.
No, but he was helpful.
Todd Heap.
Not Todd Heap.
Nah, damn it.
How about
Todd Heap had 855.
how about Michael Jackson?
Michael Jackson held the record until
we're
Mark
going
Andrews
all the way
broke it in
back.
2021.
Yes.
Back of the rack.
1,200.
He's a Baltimore Raven.
Derek Alexander.
Yes,
You're
Derek
welcome.
Alexander.
I just gifted that.
Well, I mean, we're going. I didn't realize we were talking about the archives.
Steve Smith.
Yes.
That was a fluke.
He was doing 2014, he still had it.
Steve Smith Sr., by the way.
Thank you.
How many more we have?
3.
Yeah, 3.
Jimmy Orr?
Who? Jimmy Orr? Did you really just say Jimmy Orr?
He played
Baltimore.
He played in Baltimore.
That's a great point. He did.
For the team that we should still be
agree,
called.
Yeah, I agree with
he
that.
Was a Baltimore Colt.
Yes, he was.
Did you have a question mark at the end of that?
No.
Jimmy Orr.
It sounded like you had a question mark at the end of that.
Come on, man. Would you name somebody?
Hell. Oh, Dan Wilcox.
Nailed it.
No,
Nailed it.
unfortunately.
All right. I know one more.
By the way, I would say Dan Wilcox. If this were Jeopardy
right.
and we were on TV,
just so you would have said
I would
Dan
say Dan
Wilcox's
Wilcox
name on TV. Yeah,
like Norm Macdonald with the hat. I would say it.
So the one that made this is the one that I refer to all the time when I say, hey, anybody can have 1,000 yards. Mike Wallace had a 1,000-yard receiving season with the Baltimore Ravens.
That's correct.
That's the one that I refer to.
Jeez,
but the other two, I'm guessing now.
I'll say Hollywood.
Hollywood did, in fact, have 1,000 yards. Nice 2021.
Tell me I don't know sports.
Well, you got a few wrong in there.
Don't tell me I don't. Well, Wilcox was not really wrong.
What was it, though? The last one is Mark Clayton.
No, not Mark Clayton. He had 939.
Oh, there you go.
6.
Last one is...
It's not Jeremy Macklin.
He has the third most in a single season.
Oh, my gosh.
With 1,121. 1,128.
Oh. Anquan Bolden.
No, not Anquan Bolden. He also has
Can't believe you didn't say that.
I'm pretty sure it was wrong. That's why I didn't say it.
Much as you want to marry him.
Well, I would have if he had asked.
He had 920 yards.
I think you asked him, and he said,
try.
No. This guy did it the year after Anquan Bolden in 2012.
Oh, Torrey Smith.
Torrey Smith in 2013.
Well, yeah, but you're not counting pass interference yards, are you?
I don't think we are. No.
He actually caught a 4,000.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
I can't believe that.
And then right outside is Kamar Aiken with 944.
That's why I'm saying.
I would have been here
for a long time.
If you would have said to me,
name the guy with 940 yards.
I would have completely forgot about that dude. How on earth did he catch the ball of 940 yards?
Everyone got hurt.
Yeah, remember that was the season where they had running out like Chris Matthews and Jeremy Butler as their wide receiver.
That was the year when they played with the mustard pants.
Yep.
That's the only thing we remember about
Jimmy
that.
Clausen.
That's the only thing we remember about that season. They played that one game with
Schaub for a minute. Then they were like, we're good.
They played that game with mustard pants, and that's all we remember about that season.
We remember Will Hill against Cleveland. We remember
right.
For sure.
Right.
They have that.
Right.
God.
What was that, 17?
What a brutal,
was that 17?
That was
15.
season.
15.
What an awful season that was. I mean, just atrocious.
We rolled out those pants, and everyone in the stadium said, I got to go.
Yeah, right.
I got to leave.
No, they beat the Steelers.
I got to leave.
They beat the Steelers.
I don't think they beat them wearing nose pants.
We
lost to the Chiefs, I think, wearing nose pants.
I remember that, but didn't they bring him back for...
Oh, no. But I don't think so.
I thought that was the only game.
I think they only wore them. I thought it was a home game against the Chiefs. Now, I could be wrong. What was the mustard color?
I'm trying to get the answers. All right, the Ravens lost the Chiefs.
It was the Chiefs.
Then they beat the Steelers the following week.
But I don't think we wore them that game.
Hang on a second. Ravens,
the players also they wouldn't play.
Week 16. All right, let's get the answer to this.
I don't think they wore the warm 2 weeks in a row. There's no way.
Oh God, Ryan Mallett. I
have some respect. The late Ryan Mallett.
Sorry, that's true. That's true. That is a good point. I'm trying to.
Did that eliminate the Steelers?
I don't think it did.
I think it might have been that if they won, they had a chance, and if they lost, somebody else had to win. I don't think they made it.
All right, you're right. They were not wearing the mustard pants for the Steelers game.
And isn't that the season?
But did they wear the mustard pants for another game? Do I feel like they brought them back in the second game?
I'm pretty sure they only wore them once.
One time.
Right.
Yeah.
Isn't that the year that the Steelers – I could be wrong on this. Wasn't there a year when the Steelers were out, then something happened, and if the Chargers would have made a field goal at the end of the game, the Steelers would have made it? And was it that year? Don't you remember the Chargers had a field goal that if they make it at the end, and it was short, it was in the 40-yard range.
I vaguely remember that. Yep, yeah, confirmed. By the way, they did not wear them for a second game. It was
tell me I don't know sports.
Yeah, well,
I remember those pants.
That's what you remember?
I do.
That's what you
They were so...
Can't remember which franchise Jimmy Orr played for.
Yeah, I do.
Do you?
I was around for that. Number 28.
All right.
Number one in your heart.
Number 3, would you rather? Have you heard the story about The Rock?
By the way, when are we up for another award?
What? Us?
For this show.
Oh, well, remember. Hang on. Did you hear what happened last year?
No. Did you see the documentary?
It's not a documentary.
Did you see?
Why do you keep saying documentary? Somebody watched it. Paul from Ovi Lando told me he watched. I'm like, Paul, what are you doing with your life? How did you? He said, I really thought it might be interesting. It was like a propaganda film. I said, yes.
Did you not watch it?
No, I didn't watch it. Jesus Christ, are you kidding me?
How long do you think it was?
I don't know. Knowing him, yeah, maybe an hour and a half.
How long do you think it was?
He's a psychopath.
I know.
Why would you do that?
Listen,
because we were talking about it so much. I became interested.
Do you know how long it was?
I don't.
Tell him.
It was 35 minutes, I think.
How long?
35 minutes.
35 minutes? I don't even think it was that long.
Oh, really?
Dude.
No, that's right. Maybe there was like 5 minutes of credits at the end.
That's your call.
That's
your call. You spend your time.
I thought it was more like.
Why would you spend your time?
8 minutes. Anyway, go ahead.
There's got anything else has to be better than that.
What were we going to say?
Number 3, would you rather? Have you heard the story about The Rock?
The Rock? No. No.
The Rock apparently is working on a Christmas film.
Okay.
And he's got a problem with being late. He's got a bit of an issue. Sometimes up to 8 hours late.
So Margaret doesn't have that problem.
Yeah. Well, I don't. If it happens again, not me. I know that much.
Go ahead.
Not mine. I'm gonna have to deal with somebody else. But he's got this issue with tardiness. But to make up for it, he's got a plan for efficiency on set. He doesn't waste time because he doesn't leave the set to go to the bathroom. When The Rock needs to pee, he just grabs a bottle and just pees right there on set.
Okay.
And hands it to someone so they don't have to waste any time in the middle of a shoot.
I mean, somebody's got to make a living.
Yeah, that's a great point. So,
people have to make a living.
With that in mind, would you rather? A baseball genie offers you a deal. Felix Bautista is back. Miraculous recovery.
Tomorrow?
He's back in July.
Okay. Well,
if you leave your gig and take a $60,000 a year job.
How much?
$60,000 a year. So a huge raise for Griffin,
yeah,
obviously.
I know. This might be a no-brainer.
as the Rock's pee handler. Now, because you're going to try to pull this crap, you do not get to be friends with the Rock. You get no additional benefits. The entirety of your job is just
I don't get to go
handling.
To like
no.
Okay.
Like SmackDown.
So I have a couple questions.
All you get is to handle the man's pee.
Okay, but I have a couple questions.
I don't get to join the bloodline.
No.
Am I? Sounds that this is how you determine if
you're
going to
ask
the
if you have to hold it. And I don't think you have to hold it.
No, I know you don't have to do that.
Right. Well, I mean, might be an option. I'm not sure.
Do you have to watch it happen?
You're going to see it. You're going to see it. Now you're excited.
No.
Now you're interested.
Now I think I'm going to have to pass.
No.
I can't watch you pee into the jar.
Oh, why did you always watch me pee when we were peeing next to each other at the stadium?
Different story. Those are different times.
Drew always said, I can't go unless I'm watching somebody else go.
So I hear somebody else tinkle. No, I don't think I can see him actually pee into the jar. I think if he just turns around and hands it to me and goes, hey, kid, grab my pee.
I think it's a non-zero that you might have to hold the jar. Non-zero. It's part of the job.
You got to hold the jar while he... No.
He's got amazing aim, though.
No.
Incredible aim.
Not for 60.
What's the number?
80.
What's the 80? And you get Felix Bautista back. Keep that in mind. And you're getting Felix Bautista back in July.
All right, 65.
All right, there we go. There we go.
There's no way, man. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine having the audacity as a celebrity to...
I mean, he's The Rock.
To say... I'll do the movie.
Yeah.
I'll take your $30 million.
Here's what I'm not going to do.
Here's the only thing I'm not doing. I ain't going into the bathroom to take a leak.
That's not. I'm Dwayne The Rock.
Could you imagine then being the producer / director?
You get the word about that.
No, who signs off and says, "Hey, we got to deal with." Hey,
no, they go back to you.
Hey, Glenn.
They say, good news, M. Night Shyamalan.
You got the job.
Right. The good news, M. Night. The Rock's in. Yeah. There's just one caveat.
Well, we got
to sign off.
Yeah. What limo every morning?
Well, I mean, yes, but there's one more.
Well, he wants red grapes instead of green.
Well, obviously he wants that, but there's one other thing.
No peanut M&Ms.
Actually, you know what? He's totally fine with the M&Ms. He's not worried about that. There's one unrelated subject that we have to address.
I know, because I've heard he wants a massage every day at 4:30.
Well, everybody does. That's the way that it works. But no, this one's a bit more unique than that. Now, hear me out. The Rock, he's an efficient man.
Okay,
he might be late sometimes. But he's going to make up for it.
Okay.
The thing is, we're going to need to supply someone that can hold his pee because he's not going to go to the bathroom when he has to pee.
Yeah. And how much are you giving me for this film? 4 point what?
Yeah.
Right. Oh, my gosh.
Unbelievable. All right. That's what was your answer, Griffin? You're, of course, taking the job because it's $60,000.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And we get Felix Bautista back?
And you get Felix Bautista
cool.
back, 100%.
Cool.
Big win for Griffin. It's like nothing but moving up from there.
Yeah.
Nothing but moving up. Get me your responses at Glenn Clark Radio on Twitter. Facebook.com/Glenn Clark Radio. Someone is going to win a $25 gift card to Glory Days Grill. You got That's What's Wrong in This Country that you want to do today, or?
I do, and it is sensitive.
Oh, well, I don't know. I'm not sure what to make of that, but we'll talk about it when we come back in. Drew Forrester is here. Hey, don't forget County Sports Zone, all the latest in high school sports, scores, schedules, rankings. We're getting ready for the postseason. Jumbled top of the standings in the MIAA A Conference lacrosse. So you can find out all the details at County Sports Zone, countysports.zone, brought to you by your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com.
Craving that classic New York deli experience? Look no further than the new Atman's Deli in Baltimore's Harbor Point. Corned beef piled high, hand-rolled bagels, and something different. A bar! Atman's has food and drink specials every day. Now open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Dine in, grab takeout, or hang out at the bar for the next O's game. Atman's Deli, an authentic taste of Baltimore tradition since 1915. Find us at Harbor Point or visit atmansdeli.com.
What company makes your home more energy efficient, purifies your air, kills all viruses, and qualifies you for $6,000 in rebates? A.J. Michaels Heating and Air Conditioning in Baltimore and Annapolis at ajmichaels.com.
Whether your focus is luxury and comfort, convenience and technologically advanced connectivity, or sporty performance and aggressive styling, we've got the perfect Highlander for you. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Highlanders from your local Toyota dealer today.
The ultimate fan experience awaits you at Sports and Social Maryland. See how we're raising the sports bar with our massive 100-foot media wall featuring 40 HD TVs and a 47-foot big screen. Bet on your favorite teams and this year's biggest events at the FanDuel Sportsbook while enjoying your favorite beers and cocktails, plus our delicious takes on bar food classics. Visit Sports and Social at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland at Arundel Mills. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Discover one of Baltimore's hidden gems at Guilford Hall Brewery. Enjoy dinner in our spacious brew pub, sip a signature cocktail in our outdoor dog-friendly beer garden, or take a tour of our brewery. Discover your new favorite local craft beer. From crisp lagers to hoppy ales, there's something for everyone to enjoy. Pair your brew with delicious appetizers and entrees. There are options for the whole family, but you have to try our fan-favorite giant pretzel. Guilford Hall Brewery, where every sip is a celebration. Visit us online at guilfordhall.com.
The latest edition of Press Box is available now. On the cover, Luke Jackson profiles Grayson Rodriguez, talking to people who have been part of his path as the Orioles hope he'll become their next homegrown ace. Also inside, we remember legendary Maryland basketball coach Lefty Drizel with stories from legends like Roy Williams and Bobby Cremins about what it was like to go up against the old left-hander. Press Box is available at over 500 locations around Baltimore, including 60 Royal Farm stores. You can also find the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps at PressBoxOnline.com.
The drug scene in Maryland is changing. Fentanyl and xylazine are being added to street drugs, and you may not even know it. Xylazine is not even intended for humans, and fentanyl is an opioid 50 times stronger than heroin, and contributed to over 80% of overdose deaths in our state. Anyone who uses drugs, even occasionally, is at risk of overdose. To learn more, visit stopoverdose.maryland.gov or call or text 988.
The Ed Block Courage Award Foundation has been working in partnership with the NFL for 46 years to support abused, neglected, and at-risk youth across the country, partnering each team with a children's facility or program that supports the well-being of those in need. Annually, one player from each team is selected by their peers to receive the Courage Award for their inspiration on and off the field. Learn more about how the Ed Block Courage Award Foundation makes a difference, and be sure to check out their latest podcast and web series episodes at edblock.org.
Contrary to what some people believe, I actually like this guy. when he sleeps. Glenn Clark, talking sports.
All right, back in here on GCR as we continue along on a Wednesday. Would You Rather Wednesday edition of the program brought to you by Glory Days Grill. Continue to get me your responses at Glenn Clark Radio on Twitter, Facebook.com/Glenn Clark Radio. Someone who participates will be registered to win, or will win. Everybody will be registered. Someone who participates will win that $25 gift card to Glory Days Grill. TJ Tampa, Ravens' fourth-round pick, joins us in about 15 minutes. But before that, it's time for this.
Don't you see something every day and you say to yourself, this is the problem with this place? Yeah, this is what's wrong with the country. What's wrong with the country is we're not willing to talk about what's wrong with the country.
That's What's Wrong with This Country is brought to you by the print issue of Press Box, which is available for free at your neighborhood Royal Farms and the hundreds of locations around town where you find Press Box. Read it all, PressBoxOnline.com. Yeah, Jim Palmer was talking up the story the other night that Luke Jackson did about Grayson Rodriguez. Tremendous deep dive into the process as Grayson Rodriguez perhaps could become the Orioles' next homegrown ace. Again, pick up that print issue of Press Box today. All right, I'm nervous when you say it's sensitive. I'm nervous about where you're about to go.
It's not. I mean, I'm going to say all the right things.
Are you going to really talk about the protests?
I am.
Oh,
I am.
Don't want to do this.
And I feel like I don't. This has nothing to do with. This has nothing to do. Nothing at all to do with what's going on in the Middle East. So this is not an indictment of Hamas. It's not a. This has nothing to do with that.
I think we can indict Hamas.
No.
That part is okay.
Good. You're okay with that?
Yes.
Good. Because I know you get very jittery around this stuff.
That part, I think we can indict the terrorists.
Okay. Good.
Now that's where the end of it is.
But this episode last night in New York, and the UCLA thing happened much too late for me to really dive into it, but obviously it's of the same ilk, right? This episode last night in Columbia, all day yesterday, really, but this episode last night in Columbia where this young woman came out and basically said that they are due water and food while they're in there and used the school's meal plan as some sort of mechanism for them to be owed this is 1,000,000% what's wrong with this country. You do have the right to protest. That's absolutely correct. And in some cases, there are going to be consequences attached to the protest. And one of those consequences in this specific case is you will not have adequate food and drink because you have put yourself into this building unlawfully. And to then stand up in front of the media and chastise Columbia, who, by the way, has their own list of things that have gone wrong in this issue. But to stand up there and paint Columbia University out to be the bad guy is an outrage. And, this tangentially goes back to what you've always said. We just don't want to say we're wrong. We went into this building, we occupied this building. We're doing this in the name of Israeli hate, if you want to call it that. We're doing this because we think it's right.
Yeah, I wouldn't be okay with it saying Israeli hate.
But
that's wrong. It's wrong. I understand that there are people that feel that way, but that's not. You're putting words in somebody's mouth.
No, I'm okay. Well, that's what my perception of it is.
Right. That's your. Yeah, that's not, but it's not accurate.
But you don't think it's accurate.
No, it's not.
Well, you don't think it is.
No.
So, but the bottom line is you put yourself into this situation, and you're not going to gain favor from it. You got to buckle up now and be a revolutionary if that's what you want to be. But there are consequences attached to that. And this is what we go back to with the First Amendment thing, where everyone just says, my First Amendment rights, gun issue. I have the right to own this gun. Well, you do, but you don't really need that gun. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You do have a right to own a gun. Mm-hmm. That particular weapon is not really of any value to you. But because it's your Second Amendment right, you believe you should be allowed to own that weapon. And so some of this goes back to the day we created all of these rules and laws and the Bill of Rights. It goes back to that. We were a little too open-minded because we didn't know all this was going to happen in 2024. You do have the right to gather and protest. That's correct. Nowhere does it say, though, that you are absolved from some sort of punishment. And this is particularly bothersome to me because I have a lot of Jewish friends.
I understand
and
this.
So I'm the first one to say, like,
most people do. I don't think that makes
I don't know
unique.
about that. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm saying there are lots of people that.
But there are a lot of people that have different opinions about this. Not all Jews have the same opinion about this.
Every Jew has an opinion about what happened last night.
Not every. No, you're wrong. You're saying that because the people in your life feel a certain way. That's not accurate.
Okay. Every Jewish friend I have
is
appalled by what happened last night.
God bless them.
Okay. That's
but
better.
that's not,
I understand. But you can't gather and protest and not be willing to accept some sort of punishment or some sort of pushback to what you're doing. You don't have the free right to protest and create distress for other people. You don't. And that is what's wrong with this country, is you think you can just gather and do whatever you want, and if it impedes other people, you think that's okay, and it's not okay. And that is what's wrong with this country. And if every one of those kids aren't expelled, that's what's wrong with that school.
So again, you are muddying things, and I understand your.
It's a joke.
I understand your emotion.
Get rid of all of them.
And I'm conflicted in this conversation because I do think that it's weird, but the right to freedom of assembly does involve the right to freedom of assembly. Right? When you say you can have that right,
that's correct.
But it doesn't revolve like. You can't.
You can assemble.
You can't arrest someone for assembling. You can't do that. We do have. Now, I get it. Some places we are. And we're going to let the courts hash that out, and they're going to figure it out. And I'm not nearly enough of a legal scholar to understand.
Don't sell yourself short.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
you're pretty close.
A tremendous slouch. Yeah.
No, you're pretty close to a legal scholar, in my mind.
I think I went to one class. Where the line goes. Like, what is the moment where it goes from right to peaceful assembly? And I do believe
when you have impeded someone else's right to whatever it is that they are normally accessible to.
That's not what the law has said. I do think that you're right about occupying this building.
Those kids
you're right about
those
that.
kids couldn't go into their class.
I understand that.
To study for that $90,000 education they're paying for that school.
I understand what you're saying, and I do think that particular element is where this ended. And as soon as that was what happened, that's the reason why they used the force they did. But there are other places where they're using force where no one has gone into any building, and I think that there are going to be lawsuits that are going to end up being losers for the local municipalities that chose to use that force. I don't know because, again, I'm not a legal scholar. But in this
here's
instance,
all I'm saying.
Yes.
You're right when you say all of that. What I'm saying is you can't enter into one of these protesting activities and not be willing to accept a punishment if you cross the line. I am agreeing with you. It is different than protesting and not crossing the line. I'm not willing to take a punishment. I haven't crossed the line. But when you cross the line and you protest, you have to be willing to accept whatever's coming your way.
I do think that there are people that are involved that have said, yes, I'm choosing to do that because it's my political statement that I'm making or my statement about this, and that's what I want to make.
Part of this is an expulsion from school for you.
Well, I don't know. Again, I don't know enough about what the rules are at Columbia to know that, and they get to make those decisions. That's the way. It's not a public school. They get to make their own decisions and that's whatever
they say they're expelling them.
And that might very well be the case.
Whether they do or not is a different story.
It might very well be the case, but they get to make those decisions.
And if they do, by the the way, they're getting sued. I mean, they know that.
Probably.
One of those 150 kids is
but that's why they'll have to know. They'll have to be airtight in whatever it is that it says in their bylaws that you agreed to this. This is the way that it works. They're going to have to be airtight in that philosophy of what does it say in our bylaws in order for us to justify this. And I don't know nearly enough about what's going on at Columbia to debate this. It is an extremely complicated subject that I purposely
Well, it's an extremely complicated subject for us to understand over there.
Correct.
Because it goes back
Yes.
Forever.
Yes.
They've been
Centuries.
fighting about this forever.
Yes.
Now, not the Jewish community, my Jewish community that has explained it to me gives me reason to believe in and I'll just say A. I believe in A. A, B, C. I believe in A. My Jewish friends have all given me the lowdown from their viewpoint, and so I have a specific stance. I'm not even getting into that. It's a very complicated life. They'll still be fighting 50 years from now. They're still going to be fighting.
I think 500 years from now, perhaps.
But this, for whatever reason, has now bled over into our country. And one of the reasons it's bled over into our country is because of our diversity. And because we have so many people from that region of the world here, living here. In school, running businesses. I mean, we're when I say overflowing, that's the wrong term. We have an inordinate amount of people from that part of the world living in our country who still have emotional connections to what's going on over there. Why they seek to bring it out here, I have no idea. But it's an emotional reaction.
100%.
So I almost want to use the shut up and dribble thing and just say to them, shut up and go to school.
Yeah.
But it's an emotional reaction for them. And I totally get that. They have an enormous amount of pride in where they were born and what they were taught as children. Some of that, I think,
and I don't think
in our country, some of that we wouldn't object to. Some of their proclivities to how they remedy situations we wouldn't agree with. But that's neither here nor there.
But I think that can work on both sides.
Right.
I think there are relevant
but you
points.
You can't gather like they've gathered and impede other people.
Your point about taking over the building, I think ultimately was like I probably agree with that, but I still think it's complicated. And I still think that I am not enough of a scholar in order to be able to say it.
Well, I am.
Yeah. I don't know about that either.
I am enough of a scholar to say it's a clown shoes
either.
moment for them.
I don't know about that.
And they need to be expelled.
I don't know about and they might be, and we will see how that plays out. All right, well, this might be the end of That's What's Wrong.
No, this is what's wrong with the country. We're not allowed to talk about this stuff. We should be allowed to have a discussion.
I don't know that we're intelligent enough.
Yes, we are.
I don't know.
Well, I am.
I've met you.
I know you're not.
I've met you.
But I'm trying to lift you up.
I've met you. I'm not sure you are.
I'm trying to lift you up.
All right.
It's not easy.
All right. Let's switch gears. Hour number one of today's show is in the books. We move into
this guy better have 4 interceptions this year and 2 fumble recoveries.
Why are you selling him short? My God.
Yeah, well, I mean, as a rookie, if he has 4 picks and 2 fumble recoveries and the Ravens go 14-3, I'm good with TJ Tampa.
Anything short of that. Anything short of that. Joining us now here on GCR, this man heard his name called by the Baltimore Ravens in the 4th round. A lot of us wondering why it took so long, but we're happy that it worked out that way for the Ravens. He is a cornerback from Iowa State. He's TJ Tampa, and he joins us for the first time here on GCR. TJ, it's Glenn and Drew here in Baltimore. It's great to chat with you, man. Thank you for taking the time for us, and congratulations.
No problem. Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
I can only imagine how much it means. Hey, TJ, can you walk me through kind of like the emotions? I'm sure that you dealt with a lot of frustration, you know, starting on Friday night. Like, what, this guy? Really? This guy over me? Like, I'm sure as a human you went through that. How do you juxtapose those emotions with the feeling of when you get the phone call and it's the Baltimore Ravens and it's on now, you're in the NFL?
Of course, going through Friday night, you just sitting there frustrated. You know, you got your family there, everybody together, watching under one roof, and you frustrated, all the names getting called one by one. And yeah, so just fast forward to the next day and seeing the phone call, it's like a sense of relief a little bit. But then also it's just time to get started. Like nothing else matters. And that's kind of how I felt when I seen the phone call. Like, of course, the emotions was all out, but I just wanted to get started.
Well, everybody kept saying you were going to go to the Browns, so we're really happy. Not only did you not go there, we don't have to worry about you, but we got you. So now we can just go beat the Browns twice a year.
Of course.
That sounds pretty good. So famously there are stories of guys who like keep the names. I think it was Deebo Samuel who kept the name of like every wide receiver taken before him in the NFL draft that year, just to use as like a healthy chip on your shoulder. Do you feel like that this is the type of thing, that the fact that, there were people that doubted you and that didn't take the chance on you, that's the type of thing that you might be able to use as fuel as you get into the NFL?
Of course. Like, I already had it in my mind, just seeing every name, just reminding myself, like, okay, like when I get there, this is going to be on my mind from day one, and I'm going to use this as fuel every day and every workout while I'm on the field, every game, every practice. Like, it's definitely going to be on my mind for sure.
That sounds pretty good to us. TJ Tampa, Ravens 4th-round pick, with us here on GCR.
So let's do the self-scouting here. I always like to do this when we talk to draft picks. Self-scout TJ Tampa for us.
Yeah, so, of course, at Iowa State, we played a lot of different coverages, like 3, 2-man, a lot of different things. So I got to play a lot of different names. But I would say, me personally, I'm a physical corner in every aspect. Press man, just getting hands-on, getting receivers off the routes, and being able to play the ball in the air and having good route recognition and zone, and just playing fast and having fast instincts.
TJ, when did you know? Like, I always love asking guys this question. Like, when, you're playing football, when did you know, hey, I've got the chance to really do this for a living? Like, this could be my path.
If I don't goof this up, I'm going to be there.
What was there a big game? Was there someone that like, what was the moment for you, like, where the light bulb went off that this is real?
Yeah, so, of course, like, switching the corner my first year at college.
Yeah.
It was like I knew I was good, but like it was like a little reset, just finding a new position and relearning a new position and everything. So after I went through that, I would say about my junior year, the second game we played Iowa, I filled the stat sheet up. I had a great game, and I'm like, okay, like everything is starting to click for me, and I can start playing fast. And that's kind of the one point where I was like, okay, I could do this.
You mentioned switching to receiver. I know you played wide receiver in high school. Was it linebacker as well that you played defensively?
Yeah, I played like linebacker like 1 year.
Okay.
I think it was my 11th grade year.
So how did it happen, right? Like you're obviously you're wildly productive as a receiver on offense. Were scouts from colleges saying to you, we think we should get you at cornerback? Did you commit as a wide receiver and then in camp? Like, how did it happen, and like how nerve-wracking was it for you making that move?
It happened. It was crazy. It happened on a visit that I took to Iowa State. Like, it was strictly all receiver. I've never like had any corner like conversations or anything. And I went on a visit and my flight got delayed. Then I went to the camp the next day because like, why not? So I went to the camp. I did everything at receiver. Then one-on-ones came. I knew a corner already there from my city, and he was like, come get some reps. So I did some one-on-one reps at corner, and I would say like a couple weeks later, like I got a call from Campbell. He was like, would you mind playing it? And I was like, nah. Like I took it and ran with it.
Wow. There wasn't.
It was like that ever since.
Dude, that's a pretty bold thing to just say. Yeah, I'm up for it. After you look, did you have other opportunities to play at? I mean, I remember Maryland was recruiting you at one point. Not that we're totally over it. We're not still thinking about that at all, TJ. We're totally cool with the fact that you decided. But like, was everybody else in on you as a receiver, and you had other opportunities? Why commit to playing corner at Iowa State?
It was just like talking to my coaches and everything. They would always say like, if I play corner, I'm playing on Sundays. And,
wow.
And it stuck with me. And like once I got that question, I was like, let's make it happen. Like, it's a closer step to getting where I want to be.
Look at how it worked out. Look at how it worked out for you. That's incredible,
crazy.
Man. All right, so let me get this straight, right? Like, you obviously, it's TJ Tampa, but your first name starts with M. So tell me the story. How'd you become TJ?
Yeah, so I'm a junior, of course, and that's kind of where the J comes from. And there was a lot of people in my family that, like, there's a lot of VJ, CJ. I guess, like, my parents wanted a TJ, and that's what they went with. So.
That's as simple as that. That's as simple as that. That's how you became TJ. I know you're like on your bio at Iowa State. It says you're from St. Pete. I know you went to high school down there. But are you originally from the Philly area?
Yes, sir. From Norristown, Pennsylvania. That's where I was born.
So how long did you live there? And do you still have family that way that's like kind of excited that you're going to be not too far away playing in Baltimore?
Oh, yeah, of course. I have, like, my whole mom's side of the family still lives there.
That's cool.
And, yeah, I have a lot of family out there.
That's really
But I moved from Philly when I was about 3 to Atlanta.
Okay. So you spent basically all your time down south. But the family that's there, that'll be really cool for them to be able to make the short trip down to see you play in the fall.
Definitely.
Dude, that's awesome. That's really, really cool. TJ, what's your relationship like with Charlie Kohler? Like, that's, I got to imagine it's helpful to show, like, end up somewhere and have somebody to help in the transition.
Of course. I can't wait to, like, have a conversation with him and ask a lot of questions. And, of course, you guys, though, like, he's a great guy, good, fun guy to be around. And, like, in college, we didn't talk too much, but, of course, like, everybody's cool.
Yeah.
And we have conversations here and there. But, yeah, I'm excited to get back with him and work with him.
Is there anybody else on the roster that you've known just, like, football is a small circle, right? Like, you guys play against each other. Are there any other guys that are on the roster that you've got relationships with?
Nah, not that I know of. I know me and Nate Wiggins, we were roommates at the combine.
Right.
But that's about it.
How random is that, by the way?
Yeah.
Like, that's so crazy that it works out that way, right?
Yeah, it is crazy.
Being a part of the Ravens defense and knowing the history of defense in Baltimore and just an and I get it, you would have been excited no matter who called your name because there's only 32 teams, right? But
Definitely.
Being an organization with the history, the tradition of the Baltimore Ravens, some guy named Lamar Jackson that you possibly heard of, how much did that maybe help ease the frustration of the fact that you fell a little bit, that you went to what objectively appears to be a great place for you to be?
Of course, it eased it a lot. Like, just knowing that I'm coming to a great defense with a great scheme that fits me perfectly and I can play freely and just getting to know the playbook, so as soon as I get that, I can play even faster. And just knowing that Baltimore, they do good with DBs and they develop well. Every DB here really develops well, and they always play good. So that's something I'm looking forward to, and just waiting to work.
Seems like a lot of dudes have made a lot of money playing this game after spending some time in the secondary in Baltimore. It seems like there's quite a path there. TJ, what drives you? I want to know about you, the person. TJ Tampa, the person. Away from football, what are you into? What do you do with your time? And what's your why? Like, what drives you?
You better like seafood.
Yeah, that'll be important.
Yeah, of course I like seafood.
There you go.
I play video games here and there, watch a lot of YouTube blogs and stuff like that. I'm getting into fashion a little bit, trying to see what I could do there. And
where'd that come? What drives me? Like, are you a designer? Like, is that like you're already working on stuff?
Nah, more like just
you just want to dress
fashion shows and stuff like that.
All right. And then what drives you? What's your why?
Yeah, of course. Like, my family is always in the back of my head all the time when I'm playing, but of course, like, this is something I want to do, and just playing sports throughout my whole life, this is something that I want to do, and this drives myself. Of course, just wanting to do this for the rest of my life and having that drive every time I get on the field and just playing freely and not having to think about anything else but football at the time. And, yeah, it's just an amazing feeling.
We saw your dad's emotions sitting next to you.
Mm-hmm.
Can you take me through, being a junior, what he's meant to you, maybe what the best lesson is that you've learned from your dad as you've gone through this process leading up to the NFL?
Yeah, of course. Like, my dad's always been my role model. He came out of college with a great job, raised an incredible family, and that's something that I want to do. And my way of doing it is through football, and that's something I take pride in, and being just like him with his family. And, yeah, that's something that I take pride in. and I live every day to be just like my dad.
That's awesome, man. I love the sounds of that. TJ Tampa, what can we plug for you, man? Social media, where can Ravens fans be giving you a follow? Anything that you're involved with? What all can we talk up for you?
Yeah, I'm still trying to get some things that I'm involved in, but on all my socials, it's TAMP1A.
Yep.
That's all my socials.
TAMP1A is how you give him a follow, and we can't wait to get you here for rookie camp and get to know you more moving forward and see what it is that you're going to do for the Baltimore Ravens. TJ Tampa, thank you for taking the time for us this morning, man. We will be in touch. Best of luck as you make this transition.
No problem. Thank you.
It's TJ Tampa, Ravens 4th-round pick, with us here on GCR. Ravens' second cornerback selection in the draft. And, all of a sudden, something that was looking kind of thin, the cornerback position. You and I haven't talked since the draft. I don't have, like, a hot take related to the draft.
I thought it was lousy.
Oh, yeah?
Very discouraging.
Oh, okay. Why?
I give it a D.
Oh, okay. Sure.
You know what I'm going to say. I say the same thing every year.
I have no idea.
These goofs that give these grades the day of the draft and the day after the draft are insane.
By the way, that was going to be that's what's wrong with the country. But then we went a little bit different.
Given these grades, you've never seen these dudes play a minute.
Do you want to redo it? We could redo it. That's what's wrong.
No, I mean, it's a joke. And so I give them a D. And the D is for developing.
Right.
And we'll get back to you. And so do this. Let's do it for 2 minutes. Go back to the 2018 draft. Just go back to the Ravens 2018.
That was the Lamar Jackson draft.
Okay. So go back to that draft.
Yeah. But Hayden Hurst. And that was their first pick.
Okay, so
that was their first pick.
Okay.
And got another tight end for.
But hold on. And I'll probably be, you had a teacher in school who graded harshly.
Mm-hmm.
You had a teacher who just gave you A's.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be the harsh one. Hurst was a flop. It was a terrible pick.
In terms of being a first-round pick,
it was a terrible
absolutely.
pick.
Like he was an NFL player. They found an NFL. Yes, in terms of being a first-round pick, yeah,
terrible.
There's
now, the night of the draft, no one knew that.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead.
Lamar Jackson.
No, that turned out to be good.
Obviously a home run.
A lot of people in that draft, and 31 of them, said we're good, including the Ravens. Said, we're good.
Yep.
And a lot of people that night said, I'm not sure what the Ravens are doing. Bill Polian said they probably made a good pick.
Right, for a wide receiver.
When he starts catching passes. Keep going.
The 3rd round was a pretty good round for the Baltimore Ravens. The 83rd pick,
I'll decide that.
They took Orlando Brown with the 83rd pick.
Okay, he was good.
He was really good.
He was good. Go on.
Mark Andrews was their 86th pick.
Outstanding.
Yes. From there, Anthony Averett was their 4th round
Terrible.
pick. He wasn't terrible. He wasn't terrible at all.
Go ahead.
And for a 4th round pick, that's probably about
adequate.
Yeah.
TJ Tampa's Anthony
We'll agree. We'll agree. Adequate.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Kenny Young was the next pick, which
they were dying to get rid of him.
In fairness, right? He ended up getting you Marcus
They
Peters.
were dying to get rid of him.
The next 4th round pick was a wide receiver named Jaleel Scott. And if you all can know anything about Jaleel Scott,
go ahead. He caught a touchdown pass in the first preseason game, and everyone wanted to build him a statue.
5th round, another wide receiver, Jordan Lasley.
Terrible.
In the 6th round, they made a very good
so
pick.
just stop. If you take
Who was the 6th round pick?
Deshaun Elliott.
If you take the overall grade for that draft is a B plus, and realistically, it's an A because of Lamar.
Yeah,
right.
It's definitely.
But if you took Lamar out of it, it's a B minus draft. Now,
I don't know. You still found a superstar in the 3rd round of the NFL draft.
With Mark Andrews.
Yes,
right.
that's
right. Next year.
We're not doing.
But
this.
I'll give him one more. But I'll give him an A there.
2019 was.
All right, hang on. I'll tell you in 2 seconds. The 2019 Ravens draft picks.
They took the first receiver off the board. I mean,
they did.
And
Hollywood Brown.
Okay. I mean, he's an NFL wide receiver. He's just not a great receiver.
He's an NFL wide receiver of note. He's a starting NFL wide receiver.
Sure.
Might become a star this year.
Deep into his career. Like that.
If you put him in San Diego or L.A., he might be a world beater with that kid. You never know.
He might very well be a world beater with Patrick Mahomes next year. Like, I'm very concerned about him being a world beater with Patrick Mahomes next year.
He's in Kansas City?
Yes. Did you?
What the hell happened?
Jesus
when did that happen?
This offseason.
Hollywood Brown went to Kansas City?
Yes.
You're kidding me, right? How did he go to Kansas City?
I know sports, he said.
Signed
Signed a 1-year deal in Kansas City. Unfortunately,
he's going to be the MVP of the league.
Yeah, it might very well be. Unfortunately, it's bad after that.
Okay, go ahead.
This one, it's very difficult to talk about because he passed away. Jalen Ferguson was their next pick.
Right. And he was just okay when he played. Go ahead.
Miles Boykin was their next third-round pick.
Terrible.
Good blocker.
Yes.
Okay.
Justice Hill in the 4th round.
Okay.
Justice Hill
competent.
has, you would, for a 4th-round pick, Justice Hill checks the box.
I would totally agree with that, and I would say that he is injuries notwithstanding, right? He's a guy that will have 7 or 8 years in the league. He'll always have a need for someone like that.
There's nothing else in this draft. Ben Powers, Amon Marshall, Dalen Mack, Trace McSorley.
So
it's the draft.
So that draft is now 5 years later. That draft is a D.
Yeah,
it just is.
It is. I mean, it's fine to point out that like Hollywood Brown netted you. Was it Kyle Hamilton and Tyler Linderbaum? Which pick was Linderbaum? Yeah. Like, it's fine to point out that like, even though Hollywood Brown has moved on and isn't helping you, that like that asset still helped you.
It just goes to the point about the other night. I think they had a good draft.
I think their strategy was sound. That's the way that
I thought they had a good draft. But I also know we're going to be doing this 3 years from
100%.
now if you're still with the
My analysis of the draft is, what was your strategy, and what does your roster now look like coming out of the draft? And in those ways of looking at it, I think they had a sound strategy for the draft. I wish they would have gotten a.
I think they were heartbroken that the kid from Missouri was gone. That's what I heard.
Darius Robinson.
Well, that's what I heard. I heard that was their guy, and that they thought he was going to be there. And it's the one rare time that they're very good at this. They're very good at piecing together who's going to pick who. This was the one time that they didn't get their guy. And they also really wanted that kid.
I know as a fact it's not the one time they didn't get their guy.
But
I know that as a fact.
But
it's happened quite a few times.
It's a rare occasion when, especially the later they go, they really, really wanted the kid from UCLA, but they knew he wouldn't be there. The boy that went to the Colts.
Latu,
yes. They really wanted him, but he was never going to be there. So, I mean, and even the pick before, the tackle.
Yes, Tyler Guyton.
Like, this was their best guy at that moment, and I don't know that they wanted to trade out, but I think they felt like if we trade out, we're not getting anyone of more quality than this guy right here. Wiggins.
I'm not as confident based on what I know about what you're saying. I think it's possible, right?
I think they felt like we could trade out,
right?
But whatever we get behind this, the quality of that player is not.
I think they were totally fine with Nate Wiggins. Yeah. I'm not as confident as you are that like they were gung ho about Darius Robinson.
100% they were.
I think that there were people that were. I don't think that was as across the board as
they were.
I hear what you're saying, Drew.
Okay.
I understand that. I don't think that was as across the board as What's that?
Nothing.
What's that? No, I didn't hear it. What'd you say? I'm sorry, I didn't.
I'm done.
I didn't hear it. What was
Chinese food.
What was it? When are you going to get Chinese food? When are we going?
You got to go talk to that guy,
Rashod Bateman. That guy.
Are we going to do a PGA Championship preview show or not?
When is it? When are they doing that?
You better get on. I thought you liked sports.
Not really, but you sure don't. Why would I start? Hollywood Brown's a chief?
I had no idea. When did that happen?
We landed on the moon.
No, look that up real quick.
It happened in free agency, Drew.
But when?
I'm going to say March.
The first week of free agency.
Oh, well, then I was busy.
What were you doing?
We had a golf season.
Oh.
In fact, if it was March 20th, that was our first match.
He doesn't know if it was March 20th. He just threw out a date. He's just saying something.
It was March 19th.
So,
close.
See, I was knee-deep and get ready for McDonald's.
Great point. How could you possibly follow sports?
I had no idea.
Jesus.
I mean, I don't even care.
I had a request that was given that we do another golf thing, and we're going to try to do it. This is the problem. It's going to require Griffin doing work because we're not going to do it like we did the last one because Scotty Scheffler just might win all the tournaments.
Well,
he might never lose again.
Well, I would say he's going to win this next one because the golf course is perfect for him.
I don't know what this one is.
At Valhalla.
Okay. Oh, the PGA.
He's going to win that one.
That's not the next golf tournament.
I don't know that, to jump ahead, I don't know that Pinehurst is a great fit for him. That said, he's an incredible chipper of the golf ball, which is one of your prerequisites at Pinehurst.
So the way
I think if he wins this one, man, at Valhalla, it's going to get ramped up for the Grand Slam.
We're going to do like a combined. If we do it, we're going to do a combined score thing. That's the way it's going to go. If we do it,
Well, we're
going to do a combined score of your whether
we can do
it's
it the way we did. We just have to randomize numbers.
No. I don't want to because then it feels like whoever got Scotty Scheffler is the winner, right? Like,
well, just
I don't want to do it anymore.
Don't put him in there.
But then you're not going to get the winner.
Well, but don't.
Somebody's got to get the win. No, because the person that gets Scotty Scheffler might also get someone who finishes at 12 over par.
Sure.
And the idea is we're going to do a combined score thing, and Griffin's just going to have to check the score. It's not that hard. We'll post it on. Adding the scores is not that difficult.
Oh, by the way, I saw a great movie on the plane to Houston.
What is this?
The Holdovers.
Oh, I watched the Holdovers last fall.
Oh my gosh!
I enjoyed the Holdovers.
When did that come out?
It came out in the fall.
I think like Thanksgiving.
Recently.
But it was released on Peacock. Like
Dude,
it was
how
direct
good
to
of an
Peacock.
actor is Paul Giamatti?
He's unbelievable. He's unbelievable.
It came out on Peacock.
Directly to Peacock.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's very weird.
I think it came out on Thanksgiving and then like. Right
they might have done
Christmas.
a 1 day in theaters thing. They put it. They
was
did it,
so
They
good.
only put it in theaters because that's the rule in order to get Academy
Did you
Award.
get what happened at the end?
Yes.
What happened at the very end?
Well, we're not going to give it away. The thing where he loses his job and then.
Well, no, yeah, but what happened at the very end in the car? You missed it.
I'm sure I didn't miss it.
When he stopped at the end of the road and made a left-hand turn and left, he did something that was incredibly symbolic for him and his character.
I don't know
He
what you.
took a huge sip of that whiskey and spit it out, and that was the last drink he ever took.
Oh, okay? That's what you're. All right, I'm good with that.
That was incredible.
I'm good with that.
Like he spit that whiskey out and said, "I'm never drinking."
Take another drink. All right, no, that's fine. It's not what I just thought it was a nice.
It was
film.
a great movie.
I thought it was a very good film. I enjoyed it.
He is so good; it's insane.
And so was Divine Joy Randolph, who won Best Supporting Actor. Obviously, she was outstanding. She was.
Who was she?
The cafeteria.
Worker.
Oh, the
okay,
woman,
gotcha.
Yeah.
What did she win for?
Best Supporting Actress.
For in that movie?
Yeah, 100%. Yes.
I had no idea.
Yeah. Do you know who Hollywood Brown plays for now?
Yeah, the Bills for Stefan. They traded him for Stefan Diggs. Which is a hell of a.
Do you know what teams Diggs is on?
I do.
Okay. Sure.
I do.
I'm starting
That's
to wonder.
one of the reasons why they're so.
Should play this game next week.
That's
next week we're going to do the game of.
You can do that.
Oh, Drew, we do this every year before the start of like baseball season.
Oh,
where I say go
no
pull a bunch of names and tell me if I.
Somebody the other day asked me to name all the teams in the MLS. I got like 13 of them right, and the guy's like, there's 20 more, don't you?
Yeah, I can name all the MLS teams.
I can't.
Yeah, but this came out of trivia recently. Where like
they asked you to name all 30, or I don't know how many there are.
No, it wasn't. You had to name all of them. You had to, one of the. It was like, what's the name of an MLS team that could also mean something else? That was the question.
Okay.
And so I literally had to list out the name of every MLS team, and in order for us to figure out it was the Vancouver Whitecaps that they were looking for.
Okay.
Like, that was what we came up with. I had to list out all the names. And yes, it does get tricky where like I remember some of the names of cities, but then are they Orlando SC or are they Orlando City or are they Orlando City SC? Like there's a couple of them that got confusing.
I don't
for
know
me.
all the teams.
Well, some of us like sports. Some of us are,
that's not
more,
a real sport.
Or
It's
some
soccer.
Of us are, hang on, I'll give you this before you go because I gave it to Griffin yesterday. One of the questions trivia this week that we got right was. I'm going to give you a list of countries. You tell me which of these countries have not won a FIFA Men's World Cup.
In soccer, okay.
All right?
Okay.
Here's a list of countries. Argentina, France, England, Germany, Sweden, Uruguay. Oh, damn it. Brazil. Sorry, it just reset. My apologies. Thank you for the internet for not working in the middle of the moment where oh, God. All right, I'll pull up the picture on here. I can't believe it's resetting as I'm trying to ask the question. Brilliant. Who's running Facebook these days? All right, here it is. Here's the list.
Okay.
Here's the list. You can look at the list.
Okay, which of these teams?
Which of those countries?
Okay. Argentina has.
Mm-hmm.
Brazil has. France has. Germany has. Uruguay has. Oh, what's that picture of?
Don't worry about that.
Holy
Don't
cow.
worry about that. Don't you worry about
Is that Margaret?
Don't worry about that.
Oh, my Lord.
That's actually not Margaret.
Oh, it isn't?
It's a little more complicated.
Holy
a little
cow.
more. Yeah, right.
Look at that.
You're not gonna love after I tell you who it is.
Her boyfriend.
You're not gonna love after.
That's not you.
Yeah. It's fine. I think they're happy.
All right. He sure looks like it. Brazil, Germany, France, Germany, Italy. Italy has not.
I mean, are you out of your mind? Of course Italy has won the World. What are you talking about?
I was thinking about the year that Baggio hit it over
there
the
was
bar.
that. There was that. But then they won God,
I guess England has once would be my answer.
So who hasn't? Name the 3 teams that haven't on that list.
Sweden, the Netherlands, the Netherlands, and England.
No.
Have not.
So you got 2 wrong.
Okay.
Italy and England both have. Sweden, the Netherlands, and Portugal have not won.
Okay. I didn't even see Portugal on there.
Yeah. Portugal was right between Netherlands
I
and
didn't even
Spain.
see Portugal on there.
Portugal is the other
Okay.
one
I
that's
would have
not
guessed
won.
that if I'd have seen Portugal.
I'm sure you would have. I believe you.
I didn't even see it on there.
I believe you. All right. What's going on in your world?
Not much. Just what is happening? What is going on?
Yeah. Okay. Dynamite.
Well, I'm just thinking about
Dynamite.
what all
We got to talk to Rashod Bateman. We got to go.
Okay.
We got to move.
Take it easy.
No, not take it easy. Tell me what you want to promote.
Just go to Drew's Morning Dish.
Thank you.
And just be kind to one another.
That's
Just be
good. I like
friendly.
that. I like that. That's dynamite.
Just be
Why
friendly.
couldn't you have started with that?
Just be friendly.
That's great.
Just say something nice to somebody.
There you go. Like, for example, I don't think this was your single worst performance in the history of doing the show, Drew.
Well,
I mean, it was.
I've had some bad ones.
Yeah, 100%.
So those are pretty hard to replicate.
Right.
I'll be quiet.
You doing the golf show on Sunday?
Yeah. 4 to 6.
You and Chuck?
No. My buddy Kevin Fruman's back.
Ah, okay.
From National Lumber.
Good. Great. Sure. Why not?
Excited.
Very good.
I will be talking about the final round of the Byron Nelson TPC Craig Ranch. We'll find out where the Loyola Greyhounds are going today.
Yes,
for the NCAA
tournament.
Championship. I'll probably have Chris Belogo on. We'll preview that. I'm working on some other stuff.
I believe you.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
4 to 6 this Sunday.
Who should I bet
105.7
on?
The Fan.
Are you
yeah, I'll be there.
producing?
So I need something to root for.
This week,
we gotta go.
I gave you the 5 today at Drew's Morning Dish. Siwoo Kim, Ben An, Minwoo Lee. Yeah, I know. Sounds like there's a pattern there.
Mm-hmm.
Adam Schenk, and who was my 5th one? Adam Schenk, and I don't remember who the other one was.
But those 4.
But they're all at Drew's
5.
Morning Dish.
Okay.
Siwoo Kim is plus 1,400. You're not going to get a lot. I tell you, I really like. I just have a funny feeling Ben An is going to play well this week. He's had a great year so far. I think Minwoo Lee is hopefully on the uptick. I do like Adam Schenk. One of those off the radar screen guys.
All right. God bless. Sunday, 4 to 6, 105.7.
See you then.
All right. We'll grab a break. When we come back in, we'll talk to Rashod Bateman, Ravens wide receiver. That's next. Glenn Clark Radio.
Hartford Community College will host the National Junior College Athletic Association's 2024 Men's Lacrosse National Championship and Women's Lacrosse Invitational on May 11th and 12th at Hartford Sports Complex, 401 Thomas Run Road in Bel Air, Maryland. The semifinals on May 11th include the Women's Invitational, with the Women's North A representative playing the Mid-Atlantic B representative at 10 a.m., and the Women's North B representative facing off against the Mid-Atlantic A representative at 12:30 p.m. For the men's championship, the number 1 seed will play the lowest remaining seed in the quarterfinal round at 3:30 p.m. The men's number 2 seed will face off against the highest remaining seed at 6 p.m. May 12th is reserved for the national championship games at noon for the women and 4 p.m. for the men. Tickets are $20 each day at hartfordevents.com or at the gate if available.
The ultimate fan experience awaits you at Sports and Social Maryland. See how we're raising the sports bar with our massive 100-foot media wall featuring 40 HD TVs and a 47-foot big screen. Bet on your favorite teams and this year's biggest events at the FanDuel Sportsbook while enjoying your favorite beers and cocktails, plus our delicious takes on bar food classics. Visit Sports and Social at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland, at Arundel Mills. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
There is a place where tradition, family, and community gather, where the aspirations of talented young competitors takes root, and where the crossroads of history, culture, and renewal come together. This spring, experience America's newest and most innovative ballpark, Meredith Park in Hagerstown, Maryland, home of the Atlantic League Flying Boxcars. Plan your getaway today. You're welcome in Hagerstown, Maryland. Visit Hagerstown.com.
Hungry? With 7 locations throughout Maryland, Glory Days Grill is always right around the corner. They have wings, burgers, salads, sandwiches, and drinks to satisfy everyone, as well as tons of televisions and sound delivered right to your phone. Glory Days is the best place to watch football or whatever your favorite sport is. While you're there, be sure to check out Goose Flights Lager, named in honor of legendary Raven Tony Goose Siragusa. $2 of every can is donated to the Goose Flights Foundation. Glory Days Grill. Great food, good sports.
Oh, honey, we better stop for gas soon. Let's pull into that Royal Farms.
Ugh, gas is so expensive.
Nope, it'll be cheaper than you think.
Why's that?
I signed up for Rofo Pay on the Royal Farms app. Now we save 15 cents per gallon at all Royal Farms.
Wow, that'll save us a ton of money. I love you more every day.
Well then, don't get a speeding ticket this trip, okay?
Sign up for Rofo Rewards and upgrade to Rofo Pay and save 15 cents a gallon on gas for a limited time. Real fresh, real fast. Royal Farms.
The Toyota Tacoma comes in a range of models and trim lines, so you can choose the perfect Tacoma to reflect your unique personality and driving habits. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Tacomas from your local Toyota dealer today.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
What company has the expertise to make your home healthier by purifying your air and killing all viruses, allergens, and bacteria? A.J. Michaels, Heating and Air Conditioning in Baltimore and Annapolis. AJMichaels.com.
Coming back in here with Glenn and the other guy, Garrett, whatever his name is. You know who they are.
All right, back in here on GCR as we continue along on a Wednesday edition of the program. Continue to get me your responses for Would You Rather Wednesday throughout the course of the show. And if you missed Stan and Luke earlier this week, you can find it at Facebook.com/PressBoxSports, YouTube.com/PressBoxOnline, or PressBoxOnline.com/video. Stan and Eric Garfield will get together tomorrow to talk prospects. Had to do this a little bit earlier because of his schedule, but had the opportunity to spend some time with newly re-signed Ravens wide receiver Rashod Bateman right here on GCR. Well, it's a pleasure to welcome our next guest back to GCR. Obviously, great news for everybody as he just signed a new 3-year deal to remain a Baltimore Raven. He is Ravens wide receiver Rashod Bateman, and he's back with us now on the program. Rashod, it's Glenn in Baltimore. It's great to chat with you, man. Thank you for taking the time for us, and congratulations.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate you having me on.
Hey, man, it's great to chat with you. Can you just sort of walk me through what this means to you to get another deal done? And I know there have been, ups and downs and twists and turns and everything like that, but ultimately for it to come out with you having some comfort and knowing you're going to be a Raven for a little while, what does that mean to you?
Bro, I mean, it feels good. Definitely didn't see it coming. But definitely meaning a lot, made history, with the Ravens organization. So, just knowing that they want me here and having them in my corner, having the team trust me, having some type of security, it's kind of like a fresh start for me all over again. So, I'm definitely, excited, looking forward to it. I got a lot to prove, so I'm excited.
It's interesting to hear you say those things, right? Because, we know what you're capable of. We know that, and we've seen it. And obviously, we've seen, unfortunately, times where you've been open and the ball just hasn't come your way, and that's what it is. What do you feel like you have to prove to yourself? When you say I have a lot to prove, what do you feel like you have to prove to yourself, Rashod?
Obviously, I feel like I proved to myself that I can play in this league, just by going out there and playing and actually get on the field. But I think I want to prove to myself that I can actually, be a star, be a player, be someone the team can, depend on, reliable, I've been that, but my career, took some hits, some ups and downs, but, I'm in a good spot right now. I feel good. I'm healthy, excited, all my chips in the basket. So, it should be a good year.
It's interesting when you use the words fresh start, right? It's fascinating to me because I feel like there's obviously everything in front of you, right? There is a real chance for you to go out and be a Super Bowl champion and to become a breakout star receiver in this league. Have you ever doubted that was going to be in Baltimore? Like, were there ever moments for you, with all the outside noise where you said to yourself, I just wonder if it might not work out here ultimately?
Oh, yeah, for sure. And it doesn't have anything to do with Baltimore technically. It just has everything to do with my injury history coming into the league and my stats and performance. I don't blame anybody for feeling how they feel. The Ravens fans, the coaches, I feel like they have the right to feel that way. I was a first-round draft pick, and there's expectations, but that's for them to live and decide. I don't go by those standards. I live by my standards and what the Lord has blessed me with and what He lays out in front of me. So those were the cards that I got dealt, and it was tough. I never been through it before, but it definitely made me stronger. Obviously, made me appreciate the game more than I did before. But yeah, it's definitely a fresh start for me with these past 2 years. First 2 years going how they're going, and then last year was iffy and up and down. Yeah, man, I think the only person I have to prove anything to is myself. I feel like everybody know what I can do. So I just got to go out and do it now.
It's interesting. Rashod Bateman is with us, the most stylish member of the Baltimore Ravens, with us here on GCR. Rashod, it's interesting to hear you say that. Like that perspective is really refreshing. And I'll admit to you, and I think everybody that knows in this market, I am an unabashed Rashod Bateman fan, and I am extraordinarily defensive of you when it comes to like callers and things like that. But
I appreciate that.
I mean, and I feel like we shouldn't have to be. Like everything that you do are things that I like. But it's interesting that you have that perspective of like, it's okay by you, because I feel like some people it would be very personal to them, like what's wrong with you. But the fact that you say, hey, I don't, I get it. If you feel a certain way, I understand that. Did it require something for you to have that type of mental, thought process that you didn't have to worry about what people were saying about you, and you could block all that stuff out and say, I'm just going to worry about me?
I mean, it definitely took some getting used to, for sure. I feel like I didn't always have this mindset. I feel like after year 2, it kind of hit me that, it is what it is. They say what they say, whether it's fans, reporters, coaches, family members, To me, I feel like they all fall up in the same category. As a player, you got to be able to lock in, block out all noise, whether it's a fan, a reporter, a coach, your brother, your sister, whoever. You just got to be able to, be elite and have that mental battle. That mental strength to be able to go out and perform at a high level all the time. With my injuries, that affected me. It affected my play. It affected how I attack the game. And you can't explain it to everybody. You can't explain the play calling to everybody. You can't explain injuries to everybody. You can't explain business to everybody. You can't explain it to everybody, bro. And what I learned, man, I'll be wasting my time if I try to do that. I feel like anybody would, and it's not just with football; it's with any, conversation. But it is what it is. I trust my coaches. My coaches trust me. It's hard to get everybody the ball when you got players like that on the field, man. Yeah, so it was a first year for everybody. I think the Ravens, as an organization, we did good last year. They're really good for what we had, and we're just looking to continue to build off that.
So I'm going to use the word disconnect, but maybe it's not the right word, and so I maybe you can give me a better word to use for how do we translate the part where we see on film constantly how open you are, the routes that you're running, and I think a lot of people want to say, well, is there a disconnect between he and Lamar? But we've heard more and more about your guys' relationship and how defensive he is about you. How does it go from, hey, I think I'm doing the right things, I'm running the right routes and getting open, to that being more deliverable in terms of the performance and statistics, things like that?
I mean, it's a lot that goes into it. It's really not too much that I could talk about now. I'll probably talk about it later in my career. But even from a football perspective, I mean, as a coach, it's a lot that goes into it. Especially, I mean, you got Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews. I mean, taking me out of the situation. You still have multiple guys on the field that you have to try to spread the ball out to. And it's hard to do that, from a football perspective. So, the coaches do the best they can, players do the best they can, and, the results are the results. But as far as me and Lamar, Lamar trusts me. I've trained with Lamar. I've worked out with Lamar, but last year we did not have that connection, and that's due to me and my injury. I wasn't able to train with him in the off season.
Okay.
How I have the first 2 years, I missed all the training camp. And for a quarterback, I mean, it's tough. I mean, it's a feeling thing. You got to know your receivers. You got to feel your receivers. And me just coming back, it kind of threw everybody else, off schedule, and it changed the game plan. So, hopefully we got a better, game plan and routine and things that we can, go to and stick to that will help us be better this year.
Are you going to be able to spend more time with him in the lead up to the season this year?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. And I that goes a long way. There's no doubt about it. What can you walk me through, like, what, now that you've been around for 3 years with him, what have you learned about him? Like, you probably knew a ton because, I mean, it's Lamar Jackson we're talking about, right? Like, literally a pop culture figure that maybe you didn't even know when you first got here. What have you most learned about Lamar and what makes him special and what makes him tick and how he drives guys around him?
I just think it's his personality. I feel like a lot of guys, I feel like a lot of guys know it now since he's been in the league longer. You could tell by his personality, how he talks to the media and to people. He's a very humble guy, down to earth, love to have fun. He cares about his teammates. He's always looking out for people. And his work and his play, speak for itself. But being able to be around a guy like Lamar that get hate and negativity, no matter what he does. I mean, he's a 2-time MVP right now, and people are still talking shit about how he hasn't done this, he hasn't done that. I mean, bro, it takes 11 people to win a game. Tom Brady didn't win those Super Bowls by himself. Patrick Mahomes could do it by himself. They are phenomenal quarterbacks, and I'll never take that away from them. But I mean, if you're telling me that these people did it by themselves, man, good luck, Charlie. But I don't know, man. We all, cherish him, look up to him, and he definitely be leading us in the right direction.
I was talking to Arthur Millette a couple weeks ago, and he told me it took 5 days for him to even leave his room after the AFC Championship game. Like his buddies, his cousins, they were like, "Hey, bro, we're gonna go." He was like, "Nah, I'm not dealing with it." How long did it take for you to get over it? And how much do you feel like, especially now with a new deal, like everyone is driven by what happened as you guys get into next season?
I think, as a team and as an organization, obviously, we're very hungry. We got real close to, the big prize at the end, and, we fell short. So everybody, from coaches, strength staff to nutrition, being back in the building, to everybody is really locked in and committed on, how to be better and how we can, take that extra, step. Because it's just little things, growing up, you always are told, do the little things right. And, I feel like that never changes. So, I feel like we just got to go back, fix our craft and sharpen our tools and, come back this year, and apply them. That's what everybody do every single year. So we're just going to continue to do that and stack these days and, let the chips fall where they fall.
What, was there anything, having Odell around last season, was there anything that you picked up from him? Was there anything that you have taken just from being around that dude every day and everything he's accomplished in this game that maybe has changed you or impacted you as a football player?
Yeah, definitely. Odell is is not the reason I play football, but when he came to the league, he became the idol that everybody looked up to, and I can honestly say he was the receiver. I never really idolized the receiver, in NFL until he came to the league. So being able to play on the same team as him during that time was cool for me, and it was a cool experience. But personally, me and O are tight now. I mean, he just called me the other day, congratulating me and checking in on me. But dealing with injuries, we're very similar when it comes to stuff, off the field, even when it comes to stuff on the field. Very similar in a lot of ways, and he was able to give me a lot of advice on what he's been through and how to stay strong through it all. And he definitely helped me get through last year because me and him was kind of in the same situation when it came to football things and the injuries and things like that. So he was definitely a helping hand for me. And, to be around Odell was very, very similar to being around Lamar, seeing a guy, at that level just continuing to stay true to themselves, be themselves, like no matter what, and, let the naysayers say what the naysayers say. Yeah, I mean, for a young guy like me, those two definitely I took a lot from and learned from.
That's cool, man. And he might be the only guy on the team that could have given you a run for money in the style department, right? Like, that dude can dress too, man.
Yeah. I think he started the whole, fashion thing in the NFL play ever since Odell, blew up on the scene. I feel like everything from then has kind of enhanced for sure.
Yeah, man. It has changed everything. All right, let's get caught up with you away from the field. Everybody knows that you moved into the fashion world. Like, what is this? We saw you hanging out with some former teammates this offseason. What have you been up to away from football? How you been able to, like, decompress these last couple of months?
Bro, I've been laying low and chilling. I live in Arizona in off season.
Okay.
That's why I train. I've been training there since I've been in the NFL. I did my pre-draft there, so I go there. My hometown is kind of small. There's not no resources back in Tiffin, so I just go back to Arizona where I know I got the right things where I can be successful. So I've been out there training, working on the clothing line with my friends. And yeah, I did go to Texas. I saw James Prochet. I saw Deshaun Elliott. We all linked up for Deshaun's birthday, so it was definitely good to catch up with those guys. But yeah, it's just been a chill, business, like off season for me. Just laying down, working.
That's cool, man. And now that you get that second contract in Baltimore, like how much more driven are you to continue the connection that you've made with this city, and to like continue to have roots in this city moving forward, like as someone that's going to be here for a long time?
I mean, I can't control that. I'm gonna continue to be me. The real ones, the real fans that I have here. I appreciate y'all. And the other ones, man, I apologize, I guess. But I'm gonna continue to work. I'm gonna continue to do my thing, and hopefully I get them back on my side. But that's not why I play football. So I play it because I love it. I work for the Ravens organization. I want to do right by my teammates. I want to do right by my coaches. And the real ones are the real ones. The fake ones are the fake ones. So
I appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure.
And they're all going to be what's going to happen is after the first touchdown catch next year, they're all going to tell you. They're all going to say, "Oh, dude, I was with you the entire time."
Yeah.
You know how that goes.
It's all trolls 2024 for me, so everybody better get ready.
Rashod Bateman. Bro, really happy for you, man. Happy for you, happy for the Ravens, happy for our city to have you around, and can't wait to see what's next for you. Beyond just the football, like can't wait to see how you continue to deepen that relationship with us. And so appreciate you. Is there anything we can plug for you?
Say that again, please.
Is there anything we can plug for you?
I think I'm all good right now, man.
Awesome,
I appreciate it.
Awesome, man. Rashod, thank you for taking the time for us this morning, man. We really appreciate it. Let's talk real soon, all right?
Sounds good. Appreciate it.
That's Rashod Bateman. All right. And I think he did I think that he hit. It's funny. My buddy T'Challa, as a lot of you guys were following along on social media, said Bateman's saying all the right things in his interview. I thought he hit all the right notes, right? Like the candor and how he said, "Look, man, I don't think I've lived up to expectations. I don't blame the fans for feeling the way they feel. I don't blame the coaches for feeling the way they feel. He doesn't need to do that." As we talked about, I don't feel like Rashod Bateman's been as disappointing as you guys feel like Rashod Bateman has been. And I get it. I do understand how you feel because it's a first-round pick. And, yes, I would like for Rashod Bateman to have already broken out and stardom. I guess I've been willing to understand the context of the significance of the injury. And I still come back to I don't know why the connection's not. But it's not like they've constantly gone to Rashod Bateman and he's dropped the football. I've said it a million times. I have never felt like Rashod Bateman was Brashad Perryman. I don't know why the connection hasn't been deeper because as we all see, as the metrics tell us, as the film tells us, Rashod Bateman seems like he's doing his part. And the one game that you'd be particularly critical is the game that you'd be critical of everyone because no one caught the ball against Pittsburgh. So I get it. I'm not trying to say that I think Rashod Bateman's been brilliant. I understand the disappointment, but I don't think it's because see what I just did there? Because Rashod Bateman has failed. I don't think he's failed. I just don't think it's clicked fully yet. I also think he's made some big plays, and we saw early on what the possibility was with his connection with Lamar Jackson. But I appreciated the fact that Rashod Bateman, who clearly wanted to talk, like that part was obvious. He wanted to talk. Trust me, we ask everybody when they sign if they want to come on, and not all of them do. A lot of them are just like, yeah, we're good. Rashod Bateman obviously wanted to talk. And I do appreciate the fact that he said, look, I get it. I don't blame you guys. It was at the end where he said, I'm sorry. Like, that's way over the top. I don't think he had to apologize. But I appreciate him, recognizing that. And I thought his words, I think this is a fresh start. However they got there. And if, I did not choose to hammer him on, hey, what happened with your previous agent? And because I don't think it matters. I mean, I know that some of you guys are really interested in that stuff, but it kind of doesn't matter anymore. The Ravens got a deal done. That to me would have been more relevant if that information came before he got the deal done and how that impacted the ability to get a deal done. But the deal's done. He's here. However it got here, he's here. So I've said a million times, to me, Rashod Bateman is part of the solution in Baltimore, and not, to me, a part of the problem. And the Ravens have constantly said all the right things after the season. Like, they have continued to be almost unwavering in their belief in Rashod Bateman, which, makes sense because they're the ones that took him in the first round of the draft. Like, they clearly want this to work out. I don't know that Rashod Bateman has a monster season ahead in 2024 because I can't see the future. But I don't think Rashod Bateman has looked lost in the NFL or looked like he can't do this. We've seen those guys. I don't think that's the case. I just don't think. And the points that he makes, too, about, hey, look, there's a lot of guys you want to give the ball to are also relevant. And we'll see. Maybe Tez Walker is going to join that group this season. We haven't seen Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews on the field together much since Isaiah Likely became the guy that he was. There's still going to be a bunch of guys to give the football to. It's very weird. Like, sometimes I feel like I'm missing. Where are you? I don't even know, Griffin. Like, where are you with Rashod Bateman?
I mean, I think criticism that he gets, I think, is fair at this point. Like, he's in your you
have to tell me what criticism specifically.
The fact that he can't stay on the field, and when he's been on the field, he hasn't really performed all that much. And obviously, he brought it up too last year. It was a very, very crowded receiving room between the tight ends, between obviously all the receivers they brought in as well with Aguilar and OBJ. So
I'm trying to be specific about it because, like, again, I don't think it's unfair to say, like, he hasn't been on the field. He acknowledged he hasn't been on the field, right? I don't think that's unfair at all.
And maybe it should be more about.
I think it's, to me.
This is the strategy the Ravens have kind of deployed. I mean, like, we look at they've gone first-round receiver, and it's they didn't do it this year, but yeah, three times in the last 5 years.
Yep.
And receiver, it seems those stats were going around last week going into the draft. Like, they weren't like perfect stats, but it did. There was a clear correlation that receivers are the hardest kind of first-round prospect to hit on.
Sure.
And that's kind of the strategy the Ravens have used of recent.
But there's a big difference.
It
feels like for some Ravens fans, they're talking about Rashod Bateman like he's John Ross, right? Like that he's lost. And that's the part that I don't understand. I don't get that level of it. If the criticism is, hey, as a first-round receiver, I wanted him to be Deebo Samuel. I wanted him to be DK Metcalf. I wanted him to be A.J. Brown. Fine. Like, he's definitely not been that. But this goes back, and I talk about this constantly, and I always have to give a nod.
They're all 2019 guys, and we took none of them.
Yes, I understand. And, look, the Hollywood Brown was not the worst receiver, but, a lot of other receivers that went in that draft all appear to have been even better than Hollywood Brown. It's just, I get it. It's an awkward thing to look back on. I haven't even done this exercise with Rashod Bateman to know what the other receivers were. I haven't bothered with that. I don't want to. I'm not interested in that.
Right?
I thought Ayuk was the same year as Hollywood.
No, he was 21. Unless he was 20.
I guess that makes sense because he's coming up on the contract. I guess that makes sense.
Brandon Ayuk was he was 2020.
2020 was
so
Ayuk.
It doesn't apply to either.
Yeah, right in that in between mode. I have no problem with if it's specific criticism, I have no beef with that. I would like for Rashod Bateman to have been more in his career by this point than he's been. But and again, this goes back to me, and maybe it's my, I think the metrics matter. I think that the film matters, all that sort of stuff. I continue to see, and I believe it was it Jonas who did the piece for the Banner about, let's dive into the film. Let's look at how many times Rashod Bateman is wide open and the ball's not going his way. I think that matters. I think there's a difference between someone who can't catch or who can't run good routes or whatever it is and someone for whom the production just simply hasn't been there. It's totally fair to me to say, I don't think Rashod Bateman has lived up to the billing of being a first-round wide receiver. Fine. I'm fine with that. Based on what he said, I think he's fine with that too. But there's a big difference between that and this eternally. This is always the problem. My buddy Chad Dukes talks about this all. That we have this goat or trash mentality. Either you're the greatest or you're trash. And there's a million miles between those two things. And we're just not capable as a society of handling that conversation anymore. I can't fathom not thinking that Rashod Bateman is a helpful piece. And I do think that most everyone is good with Rashod Bateman being back, particularly given how team-friendly.
Team-friendly.
Yeah, the team-friendly the numbers were.
He's going to be very easy to root for. I don't want to see him fail. Obviously, he's wearing the Ravens uniform.
Yeah, but it's like a step beyond that to me. Where it's not just that he's wearing the Ravens uniform. It's that I've never had a problem. I don't think he's the reason why it hasn't worked. I don't think he's done something wrong specifically. I don't. If you are worked up about whether or not he's in the Ravens building, on their weightlifting machines, I can't. I mean, I just can't. We're never going to be able to see eye to eye on these things. Now, I do think it matters, and as we talked about, I do think that spending more time with Lamar Jackson, being around for the actual practices, which he says, I'm going to be spending time with Lamar Jackson. That is something I'm going to prioritize. I think that part matters. Yes, correct. And he said, I'm going to do that stuff. But, being in the weight room, I think we know enough about the way that certain guys feel about the Ravens training staff to, understand that not everyone's going to have that same priority.
The most incriminating thing he said was that he's going to hang out with James Prochet. I think that's.
He's not allowed to hang out with his friend.
I mean, if it's
hell
James
is that?
Prochet. As far as the receiver,
really weird bit.
Based on where he was drafted, it's probably fair. Just
it's a
with the other
weird
receivers
bit,
in 2021, it was Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith, Kadarius Toney went before Rashod Bateman at 20 overall.
Wait, give me the list again.
Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle at 5 and 6.
Right.
Devontae Smith 10th overall. Kadarius Toney at 20.
So but there's all before. So the guys that went in the top 10 have all been hits, right? They've all been, in Jamar Chase's case, it's a smash hit. Jalen Waddle a smash hit. Devontae Smith a hit.
So it's hard to compare him to.
But they went in the top 10.
Yeah.
Right.
And that kind of, forced.
Who are the guys after
Tony went 20.
Yeah.
Bateman 27. Elijah Moore went 34.
It's been not only a nothing.
Rondale Moore in round 2.
Nothing.
Dwayne Eskridge.
Jesus
from
Christ.
Western Michigan to the Seahawks. Tutu Atwell went back end second round.
He's had a moment.
Terrace Marshall back end second round.
What a disappointment he's been.
Josh Palmer, De'Ami Brown. The only other receiver.
These are all guys that I like.
Amon-Ra St. Brown was the only.
Okay, so obviously Amon-Ra St. Brown has proved to be a
fourth round.
But has proved to be a star. But yes, it's not nearly like looking at the Hollywood draft. You're like, geez, all the receivers that went after him We're all really good, except for the one the Patriots took that year. Who was the one the Patriots took the year? Like, they were the only team that had.
This year?
No, the year of
like N'Keal Harry.
No, of Hollywood Brown. Yeah, that's exactly who it was. N'Keal Harry. It was Hollywood Brown, then it was N'Keal Harry, and then it was like smash after smash after smash after that. After those first two receivers. All right, very good. Thanks again to Rashod Bateman. I appreciate all the feedback you guys have given. I thought he did really well. I really appreciated his candor, and now again, I'm a Rashod Bateman fan. I tried to be fair with the questions that I asked, but I'm not going to hide from that. Like, you guys know, I like Rashod Bateman. I think that he's still a helpful football player. It's easy for me to say I'm rooting for Rashod Bateman. I'm rooting for Rashod Bateman. I like Rashod Bateman. We come back in. We're going to get a tidbit. We're going to get tubular. I also want to tell everybody about a cool event that's coming up this weekend down in Columbia. So we're going to do that as well as we continue along. Don't forget, the best place to watch every major sporting event, all of the playoff action, is at Sports and Social inside Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. The giant media wall, the great food, it's all there. Love Sports and Social. It's the best place to watch during the postseason. Reserve your table by going to their website. Reserve a blue reclining chair just by showing up in the FanDuel Sportsbook on premises. Sports and Social, Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. All right, we got a little bit more to do before we wrap up a Would You Rather Wednesday edition of Glenn Clark Radio.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
Discover one of Baltimore's hidden gems at Guilford Hall Brewery. Enjoy dinner in our spacious brew pub, sip a signature cocktail in our outdoor, dog-friendly beer garden, or take a tour of our brewery. Discover your new favorite local craft beer. From crisp lagers to hoppy ales, there's something for everyone to enjoy. Pair your brew with delicious appetizers and entrees. There are options for the whole family, but you have to try our fan-favorite giant pretzel. Guilford Hall Brewery, where every sip is a celebration. Visit us online at guilfordhall.com.
Make the most out of every day in your Toyota RAV4. Available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today.
The drug scene in Maryland is changing. Fentanyl and xylazine are being added to street drugs, and you may not even know it. Xylazine is not even intended for humans, and fentanyl is an opioid 50 times stronger than heroin, and contributed to over 80% of overdose deaths in our state. Anyone who uses drugs, even occasionally, is at risk of overdose. To learn more, visit stopoverdose.maryland.gov or call or text 988.
Oh, honey, we better stop for gas soon. Let's pull into that Royal Farms.
Ugh, gas is so expensive.
Nope, it'll be cheaper than you think.
Why's that?
I signed up for Rofo Pay on the Royal Farms app. Now we save 15 cents per gallon at all Royal Farms.
Wow, that'll save us a ton of money. I love you more every day.
Well, then, don't get a speeding ticket this trip, okay?
Sign up for Rofo Rewards and upgrade to Rofo Pay and save 15 cents a gallon on gas for a limited time. Real fresh, real fast. Royal Farms.
Craving that classic New York deli experience? Look no further than the new Atman's Deli in Baltimore's Harbor Point. Corned beef piled high, hand-rolled bagels, and something different. A bar! Atman's has food and drink specials every day. Now open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Dine in, grab takeout, or hang out at the bar for the next O's game. Atman's Deli, an authentic taste of Baltimore tradition since 1915. Find us at Harbor Point or visit atmansdeli.com.
What company has the expertise to make your home healthier by purifying your air and killing all viruses, allergens, and bacteria? A.J. Michaels, Heating and Air Conditioning in Baltimore and Annapolis, ajmichaels.com.
Hungry? With 7 locations throughout Maryland, Glory Days Grill is always right around the corner. They have wings, burgers, salads, sandwiches, and drinks to satisfy everyone, as well as tons of televisions and sound delivered right to your phone. Glory Days is the best place to watch football or whatever your favorite sport is. While you're there, be sure to check out Goose Flights Lager, named in honor of legendary Raven Tony Goose Siragusa. $2 of every can is donated to the Goose Flights Foundation. Glory Days Grill. Great food, good sports.
One of the things that's definitely wrong with this country is that this dude still has a job somehow, some way. Glenn Clark.
Hey, don't forget, for all the latest in high school sports, scores, schedules, rankings, you can play Pick'em. You can do all of that at countysports.zone. County Sports Zone is the place to get all of that information. Countysports.zone is the website. And it's all brought to you by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com. Thanks again to Rashod Bateman for taking the time for us. If you missed any of it, I promise you we will get it cut up and we will get it posted, and we'll try to get the video posted as well. I think I might have to do a slight edit at the end of the video. We'll talk about that. Of course, Griffin's got to run out of here like in 5 minutes today. Jerk of all days. But we will get that posted for you guys to share it out there. As I thought it was very good. I thought he was really, really, really good. All right, lot going on this weekend, and one of the things that's going on is happening down in Columbia at Howard Community College, as it is championship weekend for Next Collegiate League Lacrosse, the NCL. And I've had the chance for the first time this year to be involved with the NCL and really love what they're trying to do for the game of lacrosse and spreading and growing the game in new communities, and I'm really excited about this weekend. Joining us now, a buddy of mine, local guy himself, and a man who's very much behind what's been happening with Next Collegiate League Lacrosse. He is Jordan Johnson, and he's with us this morning here on GCR. JJ, what's going on, brother? How are you?
I'm good, Glenn. How are you?
Everything is good, man. Everything is good. So, you and I have actually never really talked about it. Take me back. For people that don't know what NCL is, give us that and how you got involved, why it was something that you were so passionate about making happen.
All right, so this starts probably back in 2021. I get a Twitter DM from a guy by the name of Liam Banks, who those of you who watch a lot of lacrosse may know his name from being the former head coach of the Atlanta Blaze in the MLL, and himself being an All-American lacrosse player at Syracuse. And he comes to me and he says, listen, I'm getting ready to start this lacrosse project coming up. Let's circle back soon. And at that time, I put out just a tweet saying, hey, I wanted to work full-time in lacrosse. So he gets back to me and says, listen, we're starting this league, him and now my boss, the owner of Next Level Sports and Entertainment, Andre Gudger. They start this league called the Next Collegiate League, which is a testing ground for Olympic-style sixes lacrosse. And what's unique about it is focused on the college lacrosse space, but at the club level. So in our first season in 2022, we had 6 teams, all being from historically black colleges and universities, which was a huge point of emphasis at the start of this league, was to bring lacrosse to schools and communities that it had never been in previously, and to help them get lacrosse programs. So by the gracious of Mr. Gudger and our gracious sponsors, we are able to fully fund all of these programs and bring them all into one location each week to play games. So our first year, we were down at the Ludwig Field at the soccer complex of the University of Maryland, and we had a great inaugural season. We were able to treat those guys very well and even take them to the Big Ten championship that year, and then play our Final Four, in which we saw Delaware State win the first inaugural title. In year 2, we took things up another notch, adding in Norfolk State to become our 7th team, and playing all of our games at the historic USA Lacrosse headquarters up in Sparks. And then this year, we really went bold. We added 6 women's teams, Norfolk State, Coppin State, UMES, Bowie State, Morgan State, and Hampton. And we added our first non-HBCU men's team and the University of South Carolina. And we've had the opportunity to play, a good chunk of our games over at Howard Community College in Columbia, which has, been a great facility. So in my past 3 years, going from college senior, taking on a job that, I wasn't sure how it was going to turn out, to now essentially being an operations manager of this thing and watching it grow, it's been amazing to be a part of.
Jordan, I don't think I'm speaking out of turn if I pass along to everybody. You yourself, you're a black man, correct?
Yes.
you know that there are, despite the fact that I know how much you love lacrosse and how passionate you are about the sport, you know that there is still considered or perceived a disconnect between the black community and the lacrosse community, right? How much has it meant to you? Because, as I've got, like, in some of these cases, these are players that have been playing for a long time. In some of these cases, these are athletes that are still relatively new to the sport. How much has that aspect been important to you with the NCL to introduce this sport that you love so much and you're so passionate about to a more diverse community?
No doubt. I mean, it's been very important. I'll take this on two fronts. From the personal level, I mean, coming off of everything we saw in 2020 and into 2021, I think lacrosse was at kind of a crossroads where, some things needed to be cleaned up and needed to, start to change a little bit. So when this project came about, it sparked my interest right away in order to help my personal mission do so. And then, just on a company level and a league level, I mean, what this is doing for our athletes is truly amazing. It's giving them an outlet somewhere that they can be each and every weekend, and it's allowing them to become a part of history. I tell some of the athletes all the time, it's not just an anomaly when we say, you're a part of history, but, you truly are a part of change, the growing change in our sport, not only to get more sticks in the hands of young black and brown, boys and girls all across America, but also with this sixes format, being a part of the push to Olympic lacrosse come 2028.
Yep. And I think a lot of people would say, hey, well, it's kind of – I've talked about this on our broadcast a little bit. Somebody would say, hey, it's kind of tough to squeeze in the Team USA pipeline. Well, there's a lot of athletes who are not originally from this country or whose parents are from another country that, like, legitimately this might be their path to being Olympians in a few years.
No doubt. No doubt, Glenn. Myself and my boss, Liam Banks, we actually had the opportunity to go down to Jamaica a few months ago to an event called the Palo Lacrosse Sixes and produce that. And, we were walking around the complex, and next thing you know, we see a guy by the name of Tommy Netterville playing for Team Panama, who played the last 3 years in the next collegiate league. And, it certainly felt good to see that example. And now we have another guy by the name of Naj Philpotts, who played for Morgan State last year, who's in the Jamaica lacrosse player pool. And I'm already hearing rumblings about more and more guys getting opportunities. So
That's huge.
It's going to be exciting.
That's really cool. All right, Jordan Johnson, again, NCL. Let's get into this Sunday, championship week. Give us the whole rundown, the who, what, where, when, why. What is everybody seeing? What time? The whole deal. Give me all the hard, straight facts.
All right, hard, straight facts. Over at Howard Community College, starting at 1:30 p.m., we're going to have two men's semifinals, our women's championship, and our men's championship. So
who's involved? Yeah, who are the teams?
Yeah, so at 1:30, we're going to have our four-seeded South Carolina our four-seeded Howard Bisons go up against our number one seed South Carolina Gamecocks. That will be our first semifinal game. And then let me pull up the schedule, at 3, just to make sure I have the right timing here.
It's all right. No pressure. No pressure or anything. No, you're good. Nobody's.
Yeah,
just you and I.
At 3:30. Yes, at 1:30 we will have At 1:30, we're going to have South Carolina and Howard, as I mentioned. At 3 o'clock, we're going to have Delaware State, our 2 seed, against Morgan State, our 3 seed. And then our women's championship, our inaugural women's championship, will be between Hampton University and Morgan State University. And then our men's championship, which will be the 2 winners of those semifinal games, will go head-to-head at 6 o'clock p.m. And all of those games will be live on Next Level Sports, which you can get through Fubo Television, AT&T, Fios, and more. You can go to NLSC.com to look for your local listings.
And all the games will be there, but get down to Columbia and Howard Community College on Sunday and check out some great lacrosse. It's truly been a lot of fun to be a part of it. And if people want to find out more information about the NCL, Jordan, what's the website?
Going to go over to nextcollegiateleague.com. That's where you can find out everything about the league. You can purchase your tickets. It's $15 for the entire day. I mean, I say it each and every week, Glenn, but it truly is the best deal in lacrosse. And come out to Howard Community College in Columbia. It's going to be an exciting atmosphere. If you know lacrosse, I think it will allow you to see the game in a different light. If you don't know lacrosse, I think it's the best way to learn about the game of lacrosse. Sixes is so fast. It's the fastest game on 2 feet. We go up and down. 8-minute running quarters. It's truly a digestible product, especially if you're new to the game of lacrosse.
And by the way, the goalie play is really impressive. It has been really, really impressive. Jordan, it's been a pleasure to be involved with it. Look forward to be involved more moving forward. Have appreciated you guys having me out and really love what you're doing for the game. Always appreciate you, brother. Thanks for hopping on with us for a couple minutes this morning. Enjoy Championship Sunday, all right?
All right. Thank you, Glenn. Appreciate you.
Jordan Johnson, again, NCL lacrosse. It's a very cool thing. It really is. And I've said, the competition level, how much these guys, they are in. So get out and check it out on Sunday down in Columbia. Let's get a tidbit. Tidbit is brought to you by Atman's Deli in Harbor Point. Everything you love about the original Atman's, but now they also have a full bar. So the corned beef, the deli sandwiches, the hot dogs, the fried bologna, it's all there, and a bar for you to hang out and watch games. Atman's Deli in Harbor Point, which is such a cool new neighborhood. atmansdeli.com to find out the daily specials. What you got for us?
Let's start. So this one I let go through the cracks a little bit too long. It's about Jackson Merrill, and Buster Olney actually tweeted this one out about a week and a half ago. He became the 4th active player to start a game in center field and bat leadoff before the age of 21. Became the 4th active player to do that, play center field.
4th active player to play center field and bat leadoff before the age of 4th active player.
So 3 more players that are active.
Acuna?
Ronald Acuna is one of them.
Center field and leadoff before 21. Before 21. Jesus. It's just such a specific set of things that I'm
trying to wait for a hint. Try to give you one more guess.
Acuna was the easy one. Now it's Byron Buxton.
Not Byron Buxton. The other 2 guys, they've been around for a long time now. One of them still plays center field. One of them you don't really think of as a center fielder right now.
One of them you don't really think of as Springer?
Not Springer.
One of them still plays center field. One of them you don't think of as a center fielder. One of them still plays center field. Julio?
Not Julio. He, I say still plays it, but he got some really unfortunate news last night.
Mike Trout.
Mike Trout is one of them. Acuna, Mike Trout, and then the other one
that doesn't play center field anymore. Oh, Harper?
Yes, Bryce Harper.
Yeah, it's almost like I don't remember him playing center field.
Center field. But yeah, Bryce Harper, Mike Trout, Ronald Acuna, Jackson Merrill.
That's a heck of a group, no doubt about it.
Yes, it is.
It's a heck of a group.
I have a longer one, but maybe
time reasons. Can it hold?
Yeah, I think it will.
Okay, we'll hold it for tomorrow. Very good. And as we get totally tubular, we have a great new partner that wants to tell you all about what they've got going on in Hagerstown.
There is a place where tradition, family, and community gather, where the aspirations of talented young competitors takes root, and where the crossroads of history, culture, and renewal come together. This spring, experience America's newest and most innovative ballpark, Meritus Park in Hagerstown, Maryland, home of the Atlantic League Flying Boxcars. Plan your getaway today. You're welcome in Hagerstown, Maryland.
Looking forward to getting out there and checking that out. All right, 6:30 tonight, Orioles-Yankees on Masson. As we talked about earlier, Luis Heel, the pitcher for the Yankees against Corbin Burns. It's also on MLB Network in the rest of the country, so anywhere you are, you'll be able to watch that. Bummer for Loyola last night, but obviously very good news for Navy as they move on in the Patriot League tournament tonight. Stevenson hosts Messiah at 7 in the Matt Commonwealth tournament. Go MustangSports.tv. NBA playoffs, the Celtics try to close out the Heat. Game 5 tonight at 7:30 on TNT, followed by Mavericks-Clippers. Game 5 at 10. Pivotal Game 5, that series tied up at 2 apiece. We really didn't even talk about, dude, the thing last night that's one of the most unbelievable things I've ever seen in my life. Down 6 with 28 seconds left.
They gotta win
the
the series
season is over. The season is – there's no any thought process at all. There's no reasonable way that they're still winning that game. In fact, I was about to criticize Iron Eagle, and I never do that because he's Iron Eagle, but, like, how they were still kind of, like, talking like it was a game. I'm like, dude, it's over. It's over. And then holy effing F. I mean, that's Reggie Miller in the Garden. I don't care about the NBA's better when the Knicks are good the way that some of you guys do, but, like, Tyrese Maxey doing that at Madison Square Garden, that's an iconic, eternal moment. Yeah, it doesn't mean quite the same if they turn around and lose Game 6 at home. But, like, holy F, I might never forget that. And then are you sweating a little bit more now that your Pacers couldn't get the job done? And
no,
all of a sudden,
I'm not sweating it.
Jeremy
Kahn still got me confident.
All of a sudden, there's all this talk that Giannis and Dame could be back. And
better not.
Yeah, I mean, that would be bad news for you. That'd be terrible news for you.
Got Chris Middleton, becomes...
I mean, the Pacers were leading comfortably early in the game, and I was like, oh, the Bucks just, I've been wrong about a few things already in the playoffs, but I thought the Bucks were just waving the white flag, and then out of nowhere, it turned into an ass kicking.
I mean, I have the Pacers bet, obviously. The other NBA bet I made a week ago was I bet the game that the Celtics lost to the Heat. I decided to lay the 14.5.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, you know what? I'm not sure why I'm trying to bet the NBA right now.
Yeah,
I
might be.
Just gonna
take a little break.
Watch for a little bit.
A little bit of a breaksy.
And wait until I get understand this sport a little bit better.
Stanley Cup playoffs tonight on ESPN. Golden Knights Stars Game 5, Kings Oilers Game 5, 7:30 and 10. Masson 2, Nationals Rangers at 8, MLB Network Cardinals Tigers at 1, Twins White Sox at 4, Rockies Marlins at 6:30 just locally, Dodgers Diamondbacks at 10:30. If you missed the story last night of the bee and the beekeeper, it's not a bee but a colony of bees, and the beekeeper that was the hero that went up. There was a 2-hour delay in the Diamondbacks Dodgers game because there was this giant colony of bees on the netting.
How does this happen? I know the Orioles had it.
Yeah, they dealt it in 100%. And they just kept playing. I'm like, bro, if I'm Yennier Cano, y'all can keep playing.
Well, the catch, it was by the catcher, right?
Is that where it was?
Yeah, it was on that
whoever
side,
it was, anybody that was in the bullpen, I'd be like, y'all can keep playing. I'm good, dude. I don't know if I talked about it, but we went on. Was there a holiday recently? I don't know what day. No, it wasn't Easter. What day would we have gone? We went to St. Patrick's Day. On St. Patrick,
right,
it was a Sunday. It was Sunday. It was St. Patrick's Day was a Sunday this year.
Yeah.
And we went to Guilford Hall. They were doing brunch and kids activities, and it was great. But at one point we were outside, and there was a bee that was flying around our table. Now I am eternally the leave the bee alone guy. If you don't mess with it, it's not going to hurt you. But a dude sitting near us was like, I'm going to do something here. And at first I was like, oh, God, this guy. I can't just leave the effing bee alone. Sure enough, used a plastic cup, popped it down right on top of the bee on the table, trapped the bee in the cup. I'm like, all right, bro, I didn't like you at first, but now you might be my best friend.
Half a mile down the road. And,
okay,
yeah.
so but it's still just a cup on top of a bee, right? It's not. You just leave it there at that point, let it die in that cup, and we moved it off so there was no way that it could get out into one of the crevices of the picnic table. So we were very proud of ourselves. But he was like, I don't think this is good enough. I had the idea of sliding a paper menu underneath the cup to fully trap the bee to make sure that it was fully trapped in. And then after that, he said, all right, let's get another one. He put two menus, a second menu underneath it, And then he had your idea. He took it, walked out and ran a mile or like a block and a half down the road, let the bee out, and then came running back. And this dude, I gave him a hug. I was like, you know what, man, I'm with you.
It wasn't where I thought I thought something bad.
Nope, nothing bad happened. Nothing bad happened.
I was getting ready to turn this. Maybe this might be my what's wrong with the country, because there's so I play baseball.
Yeah.
And they're like, and we're playing the summer, so it's always hot, and these dugouts, stuff. If we're not there for a long period of time, obviously bees will arrive. So we do oftentimes get bees or wasps even hanging around the dugout, and so. I play with children apparently, and everyone, when they see the bee, they just try and kill it, and you can't. We have a big baseball glove, so you think, if I hit it, that'll kill it, and about 90% of the time the guys miss, and so that, and it just, I'm like, why? Because now I can't sit in the dugout because you got angry bees in here, and it's annoying. It's annoying when
It's a lot.
Just because I'm with you. Just leave the. If
thing.
You just ignore it.
You're gonna be fine.
Go away.
But there are people that just can't do that. They're swatting like, dude, you're gonna piss the. Did you not remember being? Did you not go to junior park ranger like I did? I was a junior park ranger.
It's just fun, actually.
It was at Hammerman. I love being a junior park ranger. Everybody else was a Boy Scout. I was a junior park ranger. It was fun. We would go canoeing and stuff like that. And I was gonna make a joke there, but it's wildly inappropriate, so I'm not gonna. Okay. I'm gonna save that. I think you all know what joke I was gonna make if you know anything about Boy Scouts. So just decided to leave that one alone.
You say it.
No. Here, I'll write it down.
I mean, I think I get it. I get it.
Do you get the joke?
Yeah.
Do you get the? It was like being in the Boy Scouts, just with a little, Anyway, what are we doing? Oh, the bee thing in the Dodgers Diamondbacks game. So they call a bee guy. And they put him up on a cherry picker.
Oh, for some reason I thought he was in attendance at the game, and this guy became.
No, they called a company, and this guy just shows up, and he is hamming it up the whole time, because the whole crowd is still there, and they're all going crazy when they show him
makes sense,
driving in. On the
why
field.
would a guy that was at the game have his bee?
Yeah, he's got all of his gear. He puts all his gear on, goes up on the cherry picker, and they're playing. I'm holding out for we need a hero. They're playing that on the loudspeaker, and this guy is hamming it the F up. Man. He's doing this thing on the way up. He's doing the Hulk Hogan ear. He's doing all of it. And they're going wild as he sucks up all of the bees. I guess the process is you do something that freezes all of them, and then he just sucks them all up.
It makes them lazy or whatever. And
they just don't move, and then he sucks them all up, and they're gone. And this dude got to throw the first pitch afterwards and got to do a press conference. It was amazing, man. That guy. I wanted to incorporate him to Would You Rather Wednesday somehow, but it was too wonky of a story for me to think that everybody was going to be on top of it.
Right.
This guy was an effing hero. Star of stars for one night. For one night, he was king. It was awesome. But yeah, Dodgers Diamondbacks tonight on MLB Network. And Champions League. Leg 1 between Borussia Dortmund and Paris Saint-Germain at 3 o'clock on CBS in the semifinals. TBS for AEW Dynamite tonight at 8. Anything non-sports-wise?
A few things. Survivor, obviously, on CBS. And it is, of course, the series finale of Star Wars Bad Batch on Disney+. So make sure. So are you caught up? I assume that.
Yeah, you know me.
I can assume that you were caught up on the Clone
The
Wars.
shame is because I've been literally passing out because of my allergies. I'm not between the actual pain that I'm in and being hopped up on drugs. When I say the Bucks Pacers last night, I was doing this number for the entirety of that game.
And there wasn't the second half wasn't much.
Yeah, it wasn't very. I was asleep for that.
Gosling will be on Kimmel to promote Fall Guy.
He and Mikey Day showed up to another one of the premieres last night, dressed as Beavis and Butthead. Again, it was pretty great.
Jeopardy Masters Season 2 premiere on ABC at 8. And if you're worried because you might be looking for the Connors at 8, time slot premiere 9:30 now.
Oh, thank God.
Following
Thank you for
Abbott
letting me
Elementary
on
ABC.
Last week felt like a season finale for Abbott.
Oh, there's another episode this week.
Well,
and then, of course, the Dance Mom reunion special on Lifetime at 8 o'clock.
Can't miss that. Cannot miss that.
I bet my sister's excited. That's
all right. Oh, really? She's a big Dance Mom.
She's a big Dance Mom person.
Very awkward. Yeah. She's always seemed nice. I don't know how to feel about that now. All right. Thanks today to Drew, I guess. Maybe just ignore the first hour of the show.
Would You Rather went well, I think.
Yeah, Would You Rather was good. I agree.
Just end it
rough,
there.
Rough from there. Thanks to TJ Tampa, who was great, and obviously thank you to Rashod Bateman, who I thought was tremendous. Appreciate all of them, and we'll get all of it up in the greatest hits section of the
Oh, my God, it's so good.
tab at GlennClarkRadio.com. We're doing some baseball tomorrow.
We will do some baseball.
We're going to Bowie.
We will.
We don't know who,
Correct.
but we're going to Bowie. Mike Bordick.
Mike Bordick, scheduled to join us.
And Jake Mintz?
Stuff and things. Hopefully.
Okay.
Hopefully.
All right. All right.
Should be in the cards.
Very good. Thanks, everybody at PressBox, our great sponsors and partners, including Live Casino and Hotel Maryland, Atman's Deli, A.J. Michaels, Guilford Hall Brewery, Royal Farms, Ed Block Courage Awards, HelpMyGamblingProblem.org, Costa Sin, MSAA, the Maryland Jockey Club, Hartford Community College, Glory Days Grill, the Baltimore Orioles, your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com, and happy to welcome on Visit Hagerstown as well. Thanks to Griffin at Griffin_Bass. Follow us Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Glenn Clark Radio. Have a great Wednesday evening. Go Birds. Duke sucks.